Spartans 1-0, getting ready to square off against the 0-1 Caravel Academy Buccaneers. St. Mark's in their white tops and their green green pants, I should say. Caravel Academy decked out in maroon from top to bottom. They ran out of the helmet tunnel in the north end zone. They've got the logo emblazoned in the middle of the field. It's an AstroTurf stadium. A lot of games played on this field, and not just for the Caravel Academy Buccaneers. We were here last week. Once weather becomes more of an issue, this field gets a lot more use because it is one of the few turf fields here in this part of the state. As we've mentioned a couple times, both these teams have won 4 state championships. They've appeared in the state championship game in their respective divisions 8 times. When I say respective divisions, St. Mark's until 2 years ago was a Division I team. That's where they won all 4 of their state championships. Caravel is coached by one of its own, John Reed, in his 6th year. He was a player on the school's first state championship team in 1989 and coached them to the his first state championship as a coach in 2012, his first year with Caravel Academy. St. Mark's is going to kick off going left to right as we see him. Eric Ludlam is going to be doing the kicking chores. Wasn't here when the team pulled in. Marty, he was playing soccer, we found out, and we watched him warm up, and we understand why he plays soccer. Mandela Montgomery is going to be back to return along with, it looks like, Trevon Alderman for Caravel standing at their own 5-yard line. The kickoff is from the 40-yard line. St. Mark's is moving left to right on the kickoff. As we see it, the lights are on here at Bob Peoples Stadium. The whistle blows. The St. Mark's players clap their hands and their thighs, and Ludman kicks it away. We are off, and it goes to the short man at the 22-yard line. He gets to the 30, 35, breaks through to the 40, 50, and one man a beat, and he can't do it, and he's taken down. That run was by Ethan DeRegis, who scooped it up and had at least a 30-yard run, and they're going to end up marking it on the St. Mark's 41-yard line.
That was a really nice job there by Ethan DeRegis. He fielded it. He was the up man. He wasn't expecting. He turned around as off. He was looking to pitch it back to one of the return men, but he ended up holding it himself, taking it straight up the middle of the field, and a last-minute tackle there saved an early touchdown.
And so Caravel will have the ball on the St. Mark's 42-yard line. They have men in both slots. It's more of a wing T formation. Man goes in motion from right to left, and Jacob Hoffman whips it out, and the ball is dropped. It was a forward pass, but just by a yard, and that ball was dropped by Josiah Larkins. Not a good start for Caravel.
No, and that's something Larkins has done last year. He's really good at running with the ball in space. That's something that they plagued this team last week against Edmondson with some drop passes in big situations, really allowed the game to get out of hand.
So it'll bring up a 2nd and 10 for Caravel Academy, moving right to left. Same formation, 2 guys in the slot. Man goes in motion right to left. That's Mandela Montgomery. The handoff is to him on the end around. He only gets it up about a yard before he's knocked out of bounds just shy of the 40-yard line. Going to bring up a 3rd and long.
St. Mark's defense is going to be on the lookout for that all night. Last year, Mandela Montgomery was great on those jet sweeps or the end-around sweeps coming off the edge. That time, St. Mark's was all over it. They ran it to the short side of the field. There just wasn't much room for Montgomery to get anything going.
Going to bring up a 3rd and 9. Scoreboard says 3rd and 8. I think it's closer to 3rd and 9. We're just underway here in Game 2 of the high school season. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. Looks like they're going to be in the same formation. Jacob Lasnik is the lone back. Mandela Montgomery goes in motion again. The give is to Lasnik, and he barrels his way up the middle. He's going to get to about the 34-yard line, going to be about 2 yards shy, and this is probably go-for-it territory, Marty.
I would say it is as well, especially considering what happened to them last week. Jacob Lasnik is a bruiser. He's like a bull in a china shop when he gets the ball. We saw that all last season as well. He didn't get a chance to do that very often last week. That Edmondson defense really shut down this Caravel running game.
And so 4th and 2, and they are going to go for it. Lasnik is in the backfield. Looks like Ethan Potter's lined up to his left. The give is going to be, no, it's Mandela Montgomery, and he goes around the end, gets through the first line, and tackled down, but not until he picks up the first down. Tackle made by Matthew Tynes for St. Mark. Going to be a first down for Caravel.
That was a great job of blocking by Caravel off the right side. They sealed off that edge and allowed Montgomery to cut inside the right tackle. He did a really nice job picking up some yardage there. That's the Caravel offense we're used to seeing. When they're at their best, that's what you'll see.
They moved it from the left hash mark to the right hash mark. 1st and 10, ball on the 22-yard line. Man goes in motion to give his to Laskins, and he drives over the left tackle, only going to pick up probably about 2 yards to the 20-yard line.
That was a great job by the St. Mark's defense. When Lasnik gets the ball, you can't arm tackle him. You can't go high on him. St. Mark's immediately went down by the feet, and that's the way you get Lasnik on the ground.
Alderman's going to come in, and heading out is Ethan Potter. They've been switching in and out. Brandon Sampajon heading out. We didn't see him play a lot on film. He primarily does the kicking and the punting on the basketball team that made the All-State game this year. 2nd and 7 to go. Ball on the 20-yard line, and the give is to Lasnik, and he's going to go nowhere. Maybe picks up a yard or two before he's driven back, going to bring up a 3rd down.
Just no push that time by the Caravel offensive line. St. Mark's defensive line is not big, but they are quick. And what we saw against Newark last week were some defensive line guys who can get off that ball quickly, who can shed their blocks. That's what they did that time, bring down Lasnik for a short gain.
And so it's going to probably be 2-down territory here. Maverick Jackson, a great kicker for Caravel Academy, graduated last year. We're not sure. We didn't see on tape. They didn't have a chance to kick and field goals, so not sure of Sam John's length here. So probably 2-down territory for Jacob Hoffman as he is back and lined up trying to get the St. Mark's guys to jump, and it looks like they did. A nice job there by the sophomore quarterback.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. St. Mark's jumped, but so did 2 of the Caravel receivers. It's going to be interesting to see who they call this on. It looks like that's what the discussion is.
Yeah.
St. Mark's defensive line definitely did jump first, but there's going to be a question as to whether it caused those receivers on the outside edge. And they're calling it on Caravel. You know what? When that happens, when the defensive ends or the line are the ones who jump, they usually allow the offensive linemen to respond. But when you have the receivers on the edge who are so far away, that'll get you called for the false start.
And so that's going to push it back to what was the original line of scrimmage for this series after the first downs. And it's going to be, I believe, 3rd down. The scoreboard says 3rd down, and the give is around the left side, and a pickup of about 3 by Ethan Potter right on the left side hash mark at the 20-yard line is going to bring up a 4th down.
That was a great job by St. Mark's. Joseph Cartwright, the junior defensive lineman, slashed through there to make the tackle, brings up a 4th and long for Caravel.
Yeah, 4th, and it's going to be about 8, it looks like. Scoreboard says 6. I have it closer to 8.
Yeah, that's a long 6.
Yeah. But they're going to go for it as we expected. They're lined up on the left hash mark. Trevon Alderman is lined up off to the right with Ethan Potter in the slot. It is Josiah Larkins lined up behind Hoffman. The snap comes back to Hoffman. He whips it out to the side. Has his man. The catch is made. Waiting to see if we can get a number. That's Joseph Ceylon. Out of nowhere, picks up the 1st down for Caravel.
Yeah, Joseph Ceylon. We haven't seen him on tape at all. I haven't seen him do much of anything. He's a senior, 6 foot, 190 pounds. And Ian Noonan, the defensive back for St. Mark's, who's usually very good, was just way too far off the receiver on a 4th and 8 there, or 4th and 6, whatever they want to call it. He was a good 3-4 yards off the receiver.
So in the red zone now, 1st and 10 on the 12-yard line. Hoffman under center, and a quick give is up the middle to Lasnik, and he's taken down by what is a really big and quick St. Mark's defense. Lost a yard.
Yeah, that St. Mark's defense is really shedding the blocks at the line of scrimmage and getting to Lasnik there again, going right after the feet of Lasnik to bring him down. He's not a tall kid. He's a thick kid. He's not going to, like I said, if you try to arm tackle him, he's going to go right through you. So St. Mark's doing a nice job going low on Lasnik.
2nd and 11. Ball pushed back to about the 13-yard line. Lasnik is in the backfield along with Mandela Montgomery. And movement on the offensive line, that's going to create a flag. Chris Jones came out of his 3-point stance after he was already set.
Yes, you see Caravel, the offensive line, getting a little bit frustrated here. They've had a really nice drive. It's been very methodical, started with that long kickoff return, but they've shot themselves in the foot. It's kind of been one of those 2 steps forward, 1 step back situation for them, and they can't give a good St. Mark's defense any help.
Chris Jones only a sophomore, so one of those guys going to learn by experience here. And so that makes it 2nd down and 16. The ball on the 18-yard line. Hoffman rolls out to his left, whips it over to the side, and that's in and out of the hands of Jacob Lasnik, going to bring up a 3rd and long.
And I'll say it again, that's just not something we saw last year from these Caravel, these leaders, the Larkins and Lasnik, these dropped passes, but it is something that happened against Edmondson last week. And if I'm Coach John Reed, that might be something that very quickly is going to start to concern me. That ball was put right on Lasnik's hands, and he just dropped it.
Yeah, so that now is, like you said, 3 drops that we've had here already tonight. So not a big confidence booster for Jacob Hoffman, somebody who he didn't struggle last week. He just didn't have a lot of opportunities to throw a lot of balls. So 3rd and 16, ball on, it looks about the 18-yard line. We've got a glare here down on the left side of the field. The pitch is out to the right to Josiah Larkins. He's trying to get around the edge to the 15-10 and pushed out of bounds at about the 9-yard line. So going to be well shy of the first down. Going to bring up a 4th and probably 7 by the time they mark it. Undoubtedly, they will go for it at this point.
And that shows you the speed of Larkins. St. Mark's really strung that out toward the far sideline, but at the last second, Larkins turned on the jets, was able to turn the corner a bit. Not enough to get the first down, but it's put it in a manageable situation for Caravel.
John Reed has to be happy about this drive, Marty, but the bottom line is if you don't get points out of it, doesn't mean a whole lot of anything.
No, it doesn't. You're right. This is a great drive for them to start, but it has to end with some points.
4th and 7, ball on the 9-yard line. Taking a lot of time here to get the play in. It'll be interesting to see if they get it off. The back judge is looking at his watch, which means he's getting ready, and there he goes with the countdown. Hoffman is going to be under center. Potter is in the backfield, and Don Reed, knowing that he needed to take a timeout, takes one there. We're going to take one, too, with 7:25 left in the first quarter. Caravel's the only one that's had the ball. They're driving. It's 0-0 here on Fox Sports 1290. Almost halfway through this first quarter, 7:25 to play. Caravel Academy's had the ball since the opening kickoff. They've got it 4th and 7 on what looks to be about the 9-yard line. And coming out of a timeout as they were getting ready to get called for a delay game. Hoffman is now in the shotgun, a low snap. He scoops it up. He's looking for the end zone. He sneaks up the middle, but he's dragged down from behind. That's big number 55, Tyler Shields, the senior defensive lineman. It's a turnover, and it's going to be St. Mark's ball. Nick Pisorchik is injured on the play, and they're going to come out and tend to him. But, Marty, we just said a wonderful drive to start this game for Caravel Academy, but they come away with 0 points, and so it's back to a nothing, or it is still a nothing
That's
game.
it. I mean, and I would venture to say that Caravel held that ball for almost as long as they probably possessed it all game against Edmonton last week. They really struggled to possess the football. Tyler Shields had a great game against Newark last week. He picks up where he left off today. That was a great tackle on Hoffman, because if Hoffman's able to make a move there, he's probably going to pick up the first down. He had gotten through the initial group of defensive linemen. The linebackers and defensive backs had dropped back a little bit. So a great job at Tyler Shields to bring him down.
4 minutes and 41 seconds. While they're tending to the injured player on the field, we're going to take a break. This is the Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week, and you're watching it live on 302 Sports. 0-0, St. Mark's and Caravel. Marks ran off under his own power. I'm John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. 7:19 to play after a 4-minute and 41-second drive was halted by St. Mark's. They are going to take over on their own 8-yard line. Jelani Bryant under center, and the give off is to the fullback, and he gets taken down on the other side. Looks about a loss, probably of just about one, after his forward motion there, trying to get the number there. That was Andrew Watkins, tailback, actually. They're going to try to get the ball in his hand a lot tonight, according to the coaches.
They are, yeah. Andrew Watkins is sort of the straw that stirs the drink for this Spartans offense. If he can get going, it sets up some play-action passes for them. St. Mark's, it's interesting. They started last week, as I said, against Newark in a shotgun one-back set. They're going to the quarterback under center, two-back to start. Now they're going to go into the shotgun because they didn't get anything on first down.
Two wide receivers out to the right, one to the short side of the field on the left. St. Mark's moving left to right as we see it. And Jelani Bryant hands the ball off to Watkins, and Watkins spins out of the first tackle, gets to the 10-yard line before he's dragged out by about 3 players. The last hit was by Josiah Larkins, and he's lucky he didn't get a penalty there. It was close to being out of bounds, and he came up high.
It was, and that's what I thought. He actually looked like he gave a forearm to the head area of Andrew Watkins. He's very lucky with the official standing right there. You know, Andrew Watkins, he's a sophomore, 5'7", 170 pounds. He's not a big kid, but if you watch tape of him last year and last week, he does this repeatedly, sort of drags these tacklers. If you're Andrew Watkins' mom, I'm sure you're saying, Andrew, get down or get out of bounds. But, boy, the coaches have to love his intensity and tenacity.
And he is going to line up again, sophomore, 5'7", 170 pounds, similar to Kevin Custis, who we saw last week, about the same size. Jelani Bryant is in the shotgun. Watkins is to his right. And Bryant's going to take it. Watkins is just blocking this time. Jelani Bryant gets it over the middle. The pass is complete, and that's Ian Noonan, and he's taken down by Mandela Montgomery, but not until Noonan picks up the first down at the 25-yard line.
That's a great job by Noonan. He came out from the left side of the formation, just kind of ran a crossing pattern about 10 yards down from the line of scrimmage. Jelani Bryant, very patient in the pocket, got great protection. Just as that protection started to break down, he saw Noonan cutting across the formation. Perfect pass.
So now in the I formation, Jelani Bryant under center on the right hash mark. And the give is to the tailback. That's Watkins, and he's barreled up and taken down by a group led by Javon Rush Taylor, a big defensive lineman, 6'2", 265, only a sophomore.
Yeah, you can already see the difference between the Caravel defensive line and the one from Newark we saw last week. A little more disciplined, a little bigger in the trenches there. St. Mark's not able to get that initial push like they were last week. Great job by Caravel. You know they're thinking the same thing. They don't want Andrew Watkins to beat them.
2nd and 10, ball in the 25. St. Mark's moving left to right, 5:27 to play, no score in this game. First possession for St. Mark's. Jelani Bryant is in the shotgun position, and Watkins is off to his left. 2 wide receivers to the right. One goes in motion now. That's Noonan. Fake is to Noonan, and a flag is thrown. Caravel's clapping as if it's against St. Mark's.
Yeah, not sure what the call is there, but you're right. En masse, the Caravel kids started clapping as soon as that flag was thrown. Sort of the whistle was blown. Looks like we have a false start on St. Mark's. So both teams a little sloppy in the beginning of the game in terms of penalties. We didn't see a lot of penalties from St. Mark's last week, and frankly, in John Wilson's tenure, that's something they're a pretty disciplined ball club.
Yeah, so 1 illegal motion penalty for them, 2 against Caravel in their possession. And it's 2nd and 15. Clock is running 5:03. Clock going quick. Not a lot of passes, a lot of running in this game. And so Jelani Bryant is lined up in the shotgun. Watkins is off to the right. 2 men out to the left. Bryant gets it, and it's a quick out, kind of like a jailbreak screen there. Of course, sort of a bubble screen, I should say there. Call that. Ryan Duplessis drops the ball. So Saul drops on Caravel, and a drop there for St. Mark. It was good execution.
It really was.
I mean, it was a good plan, not good execution.
Ryan Duplessis, you can almost see turning his head upfield, looking for running room before he secured that ball, and he would have had. They did have blockers out in front, but Duplessis has got to come up with that catch before he starts running. Another big drop. We've seen 4 drops total tonight.
3rd down and 15. Ball is on the 21-yard line. Certainly not 2-down territory here for St. Mark's, like we saw several times for Caravel. Same line set up here. Jelani Bryant back in the shotgun. Watkins off to his left. Bryant is going to roll out to his left, throw over his body, and the ball is knocked down. It looked like that was Trevon Alderman getting his mitt on that, just like we saw him do on the basketball court over the winter.
Yeah, not a great throw there by Jelani Bryant. He looked like he maybe needed to get that throw a little bit more outside of the receiver, give him room to catch that and run, but Alderman able to stick his hand in there and knock it down.
And actually, it was not Alderman. That was my look bad. It was not number 1. It was number 7. They look the same through this glare here.
I was going to say the glare is rough.
Yeah, Mandela Montgomery. But it will be Alderman and Montgomery who drop back on their own 50 for this punt, as Eric Lunderman will get ready to kick off. Not sure how his soccer team did, but he arrived here, got dressed just a few minutes before kickoff. A lot of these kickers play soccer as well. 4:40 to play. Scoreless here at Bob Peoples Stadium. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. St. Mark's getting ready to punt. Lunderman gets it off. It's a high punt, and Mandela Montgomery calls for the fair catch, gets run over by his own player, and the ball just going to bounce. Didn't really hurt anything, but you don't see that very much. It's going to be down on the 41-yard line where Caravel will take over. So something you got to be careful about. And, hats off to St. Mark's for Caravel for not getting hit by the ball.
That's just absolutely it. That's where the disaster comes in. I mean, if that ball was closer to the return man and it hits him, all of a sudden St. Mark's is taken over in great position. So, yeah, little miscommunication. And give credit to Ledman there on the punt. That was, you don't see a hang time of that in high school very often. It wasn't a very deep punt, but it was up there for quite a while.
All righty, so Caravel is going to have the ball 1st and 10 on their own 41-yard line with 4:30 to play. Again, they run what they call the wing T, or some semblance of it. 3 wide receivers off to the right. Hoffman gets the ball, and it's a quick out and a low throw. Can't be scooped up there by Ethan Potter. Going to bring up a 2nd down. Marty, I want to thank NKN Films for our outstanding design of our 2017 high school football schedule poster. We're joined here by Brendan Benton. He's joining us in the booth today. He wants to be a broadcaster at some point in his life, and so he's here looking at our poster, and we can't thank NKN Films enough. Every school gets posters to hang around. If anyone wants us, you can send Marty and I a message on Twitter, and we'll make sure you get one. nknfilms.com. 4:26 to play, 2nd down and 10. Ball on the 40-yard line. A quick give up the middle to Josiah Larkins, amounts to maybe a yard, going to bring up a 3rd and 9.
This is a good job by the St. Mark's defense so far. On the previous 1st down play, even if the pass had been complete, the defensive back was all over the receiver. He wasn't going to get anywhere. This time, right up the middle, St. Mark's defense again clamping down, going low on the ball carriers, setting up a 3rd and long for Caravel.
And so it'll be on the 41-yard line. They're just smack in the middle of the 2 hash marks. We'll see what Hoffman is going to do here. Lining up in the backfield with him is Josiah Larkins, one man in the slot who goes in motion. That's Mandela Montgomery. The give, no, it's a fake to Larkins, and Hoffman's going to go deep, trying to get to Trevor Alderman. Flags are down, probably going to be an interference call, and we'll give a 1st down to Caravel Academy.
You know what? The only thing I saw in that was number 2 for St. Mark's, which is Ryan Duplessis, may have grabbed the jersey a little bit just for a split second. Let's see if that's the call. It happened while the ball was in the air, which would be a pass interference call.
That is what they're going to call pass interference against St. Mark. Both teams now have 2 penalties, and that's going to give Caravel Academy a 1st down by the time they mark off the 15 yards from the original line of scrimmage.
You know, that's a great job by Hoffman. They're trying to stretch the field a little bit, something they weren't able to do at all last week. So you have to give them credit. The St. Mark's defense has done such a good job stopping the run so far. The more they can stretch this defense out, force them to maybe put a safety deep, put some help over the top on some of the receivers, the more it will open up that running game.
And so that's going to take the ball to the St. Mark's 43-yard line. So a pass interference call, big penalty here. We'll see if it hurts St. Mark's. Hoffman is under center, 2 backs behind him, 1 in the slot. And the give is to Larkins, and he's trying to get around the edge, cuts it up, and it picks up about 3 yards before he's brought down by a host of Caravel Academy Buccaneers.
You can almost see the wheels turn on Larkins as he took that handoff. He has almost type of a Le'Veon Bell type approach to the line where he's waiting for something to open up in front of him. That time, St. Mark's defense not allowing anything, hemming him in. Eventually just had to run forward and pick up what he could.
And actually the tackle obviously was not by the Buccaneers. It was by Matt Tynes of the St. Mark's Spartans who came up and made the tackle. He's being recruited by a lot of Ivy League schools,
yes.
So the kid must have a brain on his shoulders as well. First, it's going to be 2nd down and 5. Ball on the 39-yard line. Hoffman is under center. And the give is to Mandela Montgomery around the right side. He gets pushed back around the left. He's looking for a block from Hoffman, and Hoffman almost throws the block, and instead the tackle is made by Josiah Larkins after a pickup of maybe 1, going to bring up a 3rd and 4.
You know, that's a rare miss by Mandela Montgomery because I actually thought he had the edge on the right side if he just kept going. He had 1 blocker out there that was waiting to seal it off, but he decided last second to turn it back to the left. Probably cost him a good 4 or 5 yards, maybe a 1st down.
I was surprised how quickly he stopped and turned the other
too,
way. It was
yeah.
almost like he saw something, but he couldn't have because his back was to the other end.
No, it was
of the
almost
field.
like he made the decision before he took the handoff.
Right, like
yeah.
he almost wanted to fake right and
Yes.
come back left. Either way, there's 3rd and 5. They're on the left hash mark, moving right to left on the 38-yard line. It's gives to Montgomery again. This time he is forced back, and it doesn't work. He is brought down after no gain by Joseph Cartwright, big 6'1", 280-pound defensive lineman.
Boy, that time it almost looked like Hoffman surprised Montgomery when he stuck the ball in his gut. And Montgomery hesitated for a split second there. Now, whether that was to try to fool the St. Mark's defense or not, it had the same effect of allowing St. Mark's to recover and bring him down for little to no gain. And again, Caravel, they're turning into Smyrna North here with their going for it on 4th down.
They ended up picking up a yard on the forward motion there, but it is going to be 4th and 4 on the St. Mark's 33-yard line, and it looks like they are going to go for it. Lasnik is in the background along with Larkins. Montgomery is in the left slot. The pitch is to Larkins, and Laskin's trying to get him a block. Can't do it, and St. Mark's takes him down in a bunch after a pickup of about 1, and for the second drive in a row, Caravel is stopped on down.
Boy, I don't understand that call at all. They did not have a single receiver in the formation. They had 2 backs behind Larkin, and they had a slot back just offset of the tight end, but it really allowed St. Mark's to keep all 11 men within 2-3 yards of the line of scrimmage. I almost anticipated a pitch and a pass, maybe sort of a flea flicker type play, but they just went with a straight run to the right side and nothing doing. St. Mark's was ready for it.
So in this first quarter, Caravel's had the ball for 7 minutes, 41 seconds. Nothing to show for it. 1:37 to play, a scoreless game. St. Mark's has the ball on their own 36-yard line, going left to right as we see it, north to south. If you're looking at the map over on the left hash mark, the give is to Watkins. He tries to get over the left tackle, and nothing going so far for the St. Mark's running game, as he picks up 0 yards.
No, you get the feeling they're maybe trying to soften it up for something on the outside or something deep down the field. But you're right, Andrew Watkins, we've seen several times now go straight up the middle and just nothing there. This Caravel defensive line is doing a really nice job. Neither one of these teams gets tremendous pressure, but what they do is hold their blocks and seal the gaps. So there's really not much in the middle of the field.
And so it will be 2nd and 10 as we approach the 1-minute mark here. The clock is running. On the left side here, I formation on the left hash mark, moving left to right, and the give is up the middle to the tailback, and that looks like it was Ian Noonan brought down after a pickup of about 3.
Yeah, a little misdirection inside handoff there to Ian Noonan. Again, just not much going on in the middle of the field, which, again, makes me think that maybe they're setting Caravel up for something, or they're simply just trying to wear down this defense. You know, we talked about you and I off the air. The St. Mark's team has depth that we haven't seen in a few years here. They've got 56 players, which for a Division II roster is pretty darn big, and about 22, 23 more players than Caravel has.
Yeah, they're not ranked in divisions based on their football rosters.
No.
Just ask Woodbridge with 70
That's right.
players out this year. Still a Division II team. 14 seconds left. This will probably be the last play of the first quarter. The give is back to Bryant, and he tries to shuffle it. The ball is loose, and it is picked up by Caravel Academy. That's Ethan Potter that falls on the ball. So a miscue there. Bryant with the shuffle back, and it ended up on the ground, and Caravel Academy is going to take over with 5 seconds to play here in the first quarter.
Yeah, for some reason, Watkins gave up on that. He just stopped looking at Jelani Bryant as if he thought Bryant was going to tuck that and head upfield. And when he pitched it to Watkins, Watkins just wasn't ready for it at all. Hit him up near the face area, got on the ground, an easy pickup for Caravel.
So with 5 seconds left to play, Caravel's going to have the ball for the 3rd possession of this game here in the first quarter. Ball is on the St. Mark's 31-yard line. 2 guys in the backfield, Hoffman under center, and the give is going to be to Larkins. Larkins goes over the left tackle, and he gets driven back after a pickup of about 1. And that is going to bring us to the end of the first quarter here at Caravel Academy. It's a scoreless game on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports. 0-0. Back in the studio, it's 0-0 after 1 quarter of play at Bob Peoples Stadium between the Caravel Academy Bucks coming in at 0-1 and the 1-0 St. Mark's Spartans. Neither team has gotten in the end zone. Caravel has held the ball for almost 8 minutes of this game, put together 2 very, very nice drives, got in the red zone a couple times and couldn't punch it in.
No, Caravel really has controlled this game. It's been played primarily on St. Mark's side of the field. St. Mark's is in a little trouble now, again, turning the ball over deep in their own territory to Caravel on a pitch gone awry by Jelani Bryant. So, yeah, if you're Caravel and Coach Reed after what happened last week, you want to cash in. You're desperate to cash in at some point, get some momentum going for your offense. offense.
And so they'll be moving right to left. Lasnik and Larkin are in the backfield. Hoffman is under center in the wing T. The give is to Larkins. He's trying to get around the edge, shakes one tackle, and then he's dumped down after a pickup of about 4. Nice tackle there by Ian Noonan.
Both these teams have really shown me something tackling. They're doing a great job of wrapping up, going low on ball carriers instead of going for the big sports center hit like we've seen sometimes.
Like we saw last week.
That's exactly right. Reggie Grinnell with his obliteration of the unfortunate Indian River punter, which made number 6 on Sports Center's top 10 plays, if anybody missed it.
And so it's going to bring up a 3rd and 6. They've spotted the ball at the 27-yard line. Lasnik and Larkin in the background. Actually, Larkin goes in motion right to left. The give is up the middle, and the ball carrier gets up to the 20-yard line, and that is Lasnik. The numbers get harder to see
as
the light goes on here in the press box and the glare becomes greater. We're not able to open the windows up in the press box as much as we like being in this press box because it's just us and the 302 Sports crew. Unlike at other high school stadiums, one disadvantage is we are looking through a plexiglass window, which keeps it a little bit warmer in the winter and a little bit hotter here in what is more like summer weather than we've had in recent weeks. They did pick up the first down there. Lasnik did, and so going in motion is Larkin right to left. Hoffman is under center, and the give is to Lasnik again. If something works, why not do it again? Only this time it looks like he's going to pick up about 3 yards. St. Mark's says they've got the ball, and it is fumbled. The ball was stripped away on the far side of the field and recovered by St. Mark's. So 2 straight fumbles have turned the tide twice early in the second quarter.
That's just got to be so frustrating if you're Coach Reed. That time Lasnik was just coming off a big run up the middle. That time he's fighting for extra yards, and how many times have we seen it at every level? High school, college, pros. You fight for extra yards. You take the chance that someone's going to reach in and rip it out. And that's exactly what St. Mark's did, and all good defenses are going to do that, and both of the ones we have tonight are good.
So 10:53 to play here. It's still scoreless. St. Mark's and Caravel Academy. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. St. Mark's has taken over on the fumble by Lasnik, and it's going to be 1st and 10, ball on the 17-yard line. No wind here tonight. It's in the low 70s, going to stay there about the entire time here tonight. So not exactly fall football weather, but what you would expect in September. High snap, Bryant pulls it down and then tries to sneak up the middle and is tackled after a pickup of about 3. They're going to mark it at the 19-yard line, going to bring up a 2nd down.
That's always frustrating if you're the quarterback. On a quarterback draw, the last thing you want is a snap where you have to leave your feet to get that. It throws off completely the timing of that play. And, John, just a quick score following Twitter here. Woodbridge, we talked about Dover not wanting to get off to a rough start. Woodbridge is up 21-0 with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter.
So what could be 2 Division II losses for a Division I Dover team trying to get back into the playoffs. Not a playoff team quite yet. 2nd and 8, St. Mark's, the fake in the backfield, and they get the ball out to the right, but a quick tackle made there. That was Victor Marcello who hauled it in. But he actually barely got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe even about a half a yard shy, going to bring up a 3rd down.
That was Ethan Potter, who really has started to make a name for himself. He's a sophomore, a really good job of securing the tackle there. Again, we've seen both teams make great open field tackles tonight. You almost get the sense that one of these teams is waiting for somebody else to make a mistake or make a missed tackle, get a big run, just nothing doing. Both defenses have been very sound.
That was Marcello's 3rd catch of the season. He had 2 last week for 34 yards, only a junior. 3rd and 8, ball is spotted on the 18-yard line. Jelani Bryant gets it. He rolls out looking for a man, throwing it deep down the sideline, trying to get his man Ian Noonan, and incomplete. Was open, just a little overthrown, but a tough throw to make.
He was. You know, when they go back and watch that film, Ian Noonan actually stopped a little bit. He started jogging toward the end of that. I'm not sure if he thought that Jelani Bryant didn't have the arm to get there, but then he had to sort of get on his horse after Bryant let that thing loose. Bryant with a really good arm. That's something that as the season wears on, you have 2 young guys and a quarterback in his first starting season. They're going to work that out as time goes on.
So Alderman will drop back along with Mandela Montgomery on about their 50-yard line. Ludman is set to punt at his 5. It's 4th and 8, 9:23 to play here in a scoreless game. Teams are playing field position. The snap is over Ludman's head, and he is trying to escape the tackle. He cannot. He's going to be brought down at the 2-yard line by the Caravel Academy punt team.
You know, last week, John, Tyler Shields for St. Mark's blocked a Newark punt, setting up a touchdown for them. I kind of thought tonight we might see something similar. I did not think we'd see it on the St. Mark's side. They did a really good job on their punt teams last week. that, again, just a high snap, which we've seen a couple of high snaps to Bryant. We now see a snap almost over the head of Ludman. Remember, Ludman's not a normal-sized kicker. He's 6'2", he's 250, so he may not be able to get off the ground as much as some of the other guys, but a valiant effort by him to save a touchdown there, frankly, because that very easily could have gone into the end zone.
And so when we come back, it's going to be Caravel's ball, first down and goal from the 3-yard line. And has called a timeout to get his troops together. We'll be right back. You're listening to Fox Sports 1290 Football Game of the Week. Stadium. John Buzzy along with Marty Sheehan. A scoreless game so far between the host Caravel Academy and the St. Mark's Spartans in a Division II non-conference game, but a muffed snap on a punt has put Caravel Academy on the 3-yard line of St. Mark's. To give it to Larkins. He goes over the left tackle, waiting for the signal. He's in! 3-yard score for Larkins. Caravel Academy goes up 6-0.
John, just a few minutes ago before the timeout, I talked about it almost seemed like these teams are waiting for one to make a mistake. Well, St. Mark's was the first one to blink. They have the mix-up on the punt that goes over Ludman's head, gets tackled at the 2, and Caravel immediately cashes in with Larkins, and that's something this offense desperately needed, Jacob Hoffman included. They need to build some confidence.
On to kick the extra point will be Brandon Sampajon from the first-year player from the basketball team. Ethan DeRegis is in on the hold. It is 6-0 Caravel over St. Mark's. A low snap. DeRegis gets it down nicely, and the kick is up, and it is no good. Had plenty of legs, so it looked like it was off to the right. So the score is going to remain 6-0 with 9:13 here to play. We're going to take our fifth and final break of the first half. You're listening to Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week. Stadium. And Marty, what we've seen here is a Caravel Academy team that had 2 very, very good long drives, gave the ball away on a fumble by Lasnik, and then gets the ball right back and punches it in from the 3-yard line. So that's got to give this Caravel team, which only scored once last week, and it was really a meaningless score in a 30-8 blowout. It's got to give them some confidence against what's a very good St. Mark's team.
Absolutely. If you're a Caravel fan, you've got to love what you've seen offensively. Aside from the turnover, you know, what you're seeing is a team that's been able to drive the ball. They're sticking to it. They're trying to run up the middle. They've got the athletes. They've had a couple throws on target that have been dropped, but they're showing signs of life on offense, and you wonder if that being set up at the 2-yard line after a missed snap on the punt is going to set them up where they need to be and establish more confidence and get this offense rolling.
So Sampajon is going to be kicking the ball off from the 40-yard line. Back deep for St. Mark's is Ian Noonan and Blake Sanders.
John, I don't picture Sampajon as a kicker because when we did basketball, he is a bruiser down low for that Caravel team. He gave a lot of headaches to a lot of players on the inside.
He's the Rick Mahorn.
Yes, he is.
Caravel
That's exactly
a
perfect analogy.
And not that he's that heavy, because he's not, but he likes to play rough down, and he boots the ball away, and it's going to go right into the arms of Blake Sanders at his own 15 to the 20, 25, 30, almost trying to get to the 40-yard line where he's going to be stacked up and brought down. They're going to mark it at the 33-yard line where St. Mark's will take over. 1st and 10. Don't forget to tune into the Blue Hen Football Coaches Show every Wednesday at 7 o'clock on 94.7. WDSD is the voice of the Blue Hens. Scott Klatskin talks UD football with head coach Danny Rocco at Klondike Kate's on Main Street in Newark. Speaking of the Blue Hens, they take on Cornell tomorrow at 3:30, and you can hear all the action starting with Blue Hens game day starting at 2:30 from Delaware Stadium. Scott Klatskin and Matt Jansen bring you all the action on our sister station 94.7. WPSD. With 9:04 to play here in the first quarter, St. Mark's takes over, trailing 6-0. The ball is on the 32-yard line. Jelani Bryant hands it off to Watkins. Watkins tries to get around the edge and gets met head on there. A big tackle by Ethan DeRegis after a pickup of about 3.
Ethan DeRegis has done a nice job. He is not a big kid by any means, 5'9", 160, but that's coming right up getting right into Andrew Watkins' face. Watkins, again, also not a real big kid, but the good tackling for both these teams continues. We just haven't seen anybody sort of break loose from an arm tackle and be able to get any kind of big yardage situation. And for St. Mark's, I thought Caravel was going to be the one to have a hard time establishing their offense, but St. Mark's really hasn't been able to get anything going tonight.
Watkins shaking up there. That was a couple big hits he took. He comes off. Noonan comes in. Watkins is kneeling down. It looks like he's going to be okay. May have just been shaken up a little on that big hit. 2nd and 8, and it looks like the St. Mark staff is going to have to take another timeout. John Wilson is not happy about that. I don't know if no, it's going to be a penalty. It's a delay of game. Should have taken a timeout, but
yes.
That's once they've had to take a timeout because of that, and now they are called with the delay of game, their 3rd penalty of the day.
Unfortunately, Watkins didn't come off right away, so the referee started the clock immediately after that play ended, and with Watkins coming off, there was no chance to restart that play clock, and that ends up in the penalty for St. Mark's.
And now they're going to try to fix the clock. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. Maybe it was running. Now they've straightened it out, whatever it was, and so they're going to go here. Bryant is under center. Matt McWork is the fullback. The pitch is to Noonan, tailback, and he goes up over the tackle, picks up about 4 yards to the 31, going to bring up a 3rd down, and it looks like it's going to be about 6.
That was the first time we saw some really good push from the St. Mark's offensive line. They were able to knock that Caravel defense back about 2 or 3 yards, open up a little running lane there for Ian Noonan to pick up a few yards.
Scoreboard's calling it 3rd and 7. It's between the 35 and the 36-yard line, right between the 2 hash marks, 2 wide receivers out to the left. Noonan and Watkins are in the backfield, and it's a fake play-action pass. Jelani Bryant's getting flushed out, and he's going to be brought down by DeRegis along with Vincent Green. And so a big sack there, maybe a little inexperienced. You got to get rid of that ball before then. Going to bring up a 4th and forever.
You do, and unfortunately, Ian Noonan had a good block on his man, but because of the way Jelani Bryant rolled out, Noonan ended up blocking his man right into the path of Jelani Bryant. So you're right, at that point, when Bryant realizes he's not going anywhere, he's got to get that thing out of bounds. And we know he has the arm to get it back to the line of scrimmage and out of bounds.
And sometimes when you're as athletic as he is, you think you're
you
invincible.
You're right.
And if he does make that turn, if not for the big pursuit by Caravel, who knows what he does on the far side of the field here. And Caravel is going to take a timeout. Not sure what they weren't prepared for. Maybe they only had 10 guys on the field. But we're going to take our final timeout of the half with them. There's 6:53 to play here in the 2nd quarter. Caravel with a 6-0 lead over St. Mark's. On 4th and 22, Ludman is going to be back on his own 10-yard line. The last time they tried this, the ball went almost flying over Ludman's head and turned into a 3-yard touchdown run for Josiah Larkin to give Caravel a 6-0 lead. Alderman and Montgomery are deep for Caravel. Caravel looks like they're threatening to come in, and maybe that's what John Reed was trying to do, is set up a good return here. And Ludman gets it off this time. A high, booming kick going to be taken at the 42-yard line by Alderman. He scoops around the left and is brought down in a nice shoestring tackle there by Andrew Watkins. I'm sorry, nope, that was Zion Glover who made the shoestring tackle there, and Caravel's going to have the ball on their own 44-yard line.
That's a great job there by Glover. At 5'4", 130 pounds, he blazed down the field and got great coverage on that. I'll tell you what, when Ludman gets an opportunity, he really gets his foot into it. That one had a little bit less hang time, but plenty more distance. So if they can get him the snap, he does okay. Unfortunately, the one missed snap has led to the only score in our game.
Special Olympics Delaware is always looking for qualified coaches or former players wanting to coach the next sports seasons are bowling and basketball. It only takes 2 hours a week for 8 weeks to make a difference. For more information, visit SODE.org. 1st and 10 with 6:43 to play. Caravel a 6-0 lead in the ball on their own 44-yard line. Hoffman is under center. The give is up the middle to Lasnik, and he barrels over the left tackle for a pickup of about 5.
Nice job there, getting a nice first down play for Caravel. They've not been able to get much going early on in their down. So to get 5, to end up with a 2nd and 5 is pretty good for each of these offenses to this point in the game. It's been a real struggle to get anything going consistently. As we said, the only Caravel touchdown coming on a 2-yard drive.
2nd and 5. Ball on the 49-yard line. Caravel with 2 timeouts left, according to my stats here. The give is to Lasnik again over the left tackle, and St. Mark's stacks them up, and it looks like they're going to give him a pickup of about 2, which will bring up a 3rd and 3.
Nothing going there again for Lasnik. St. Mark's defense still doing a good job stringing it out. That time went inside and then tried to make his way to the left, to the short side of the field. Nothing doing. St. Mark's closing down the lanes.
Good crowd here tonight, Marty. As we expected, St. Mark's only about 5 or 6 miles up the road on Kirkwood Highway. Their stands are just as full as the Caravel stands. Caravel's got a lot of fans along the fence on the other side, and there's even some St. Mark's on this side. So a nice turnout here on a Friday night for a game which everybody thought would be close, and obviously has turned out to be just that. Lasnik is the lone back in the backfield. Hoffman has it. The give is to Lasnik up the middle. He pushes his way over the left side, and it looks like he's going to have the first down at the St. Mark's 45-yard line.
Yeah, Lasnik was able to fight off the first tackle there and push through for another 3-4 yards, and that's the first time we've seen an all-run possession from Caravel. 3 runs result in a first down, so maybe you're seeing a little bit of spark of confidence from this offense.
On the 44-yard line, and they have a reason to be confident. They've had 2 very good drives that didn't turn into scores, and then, of course, punched it in from the 3-yard line. 1st and 10, ball on the St. Mark's 44-yard line. 2 in the backfield, 1 in the slot. The give is to Lasnik again, but the refs are going to stop the play, which usually means it's an offensive penalty. Or
they have John Wilson coming out. Yeah. I think St. Mark's only had 10 guys on the field, because there's number 24 is making his way out with Coach Wilson, and no one has come off the field. So,
yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure who called the timeout. We didn't hear the referee or the PA announcer, and both coaches came out as if they had called the timeout.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter. A timeout's been called either way. We're going to keep it right here. 4:58 to play here in the second quarter. Caravel Academy with a 6-0 lead. And, some big games, none bigger tonight probably. Obviously, I think and I'm not just saying this because we're at this game. When you look at the schedule, this should be as competitive as any game that's going on tonight against 2 very good teams.
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, these are 2 teams that have harbor legitimate playoff, Division II playoff hopes. I agree that for one of these teams, I mean, if you're Caravel, starting the season 0-2 could end up being disastrous, although they did rebound from a rough start last year. St. Mark's, this could really springboard them if they're able to hold on, or if they're able to come back, excuse me.
Right. 1st and 10, ball on the St. Mark's 44-yard line with Caravel. Man goes in motion, and the give is around the edge. That's Josiah Larkins, and he gets out to about, looks like the 34-yard line is where they're going to mark it. We'll see. He ran about 7 yards after he got out of bounds. It is going to be on the 34-yard line. So a little trickery there by the quarterback, Jacob Hoffman. Larkins ended up with it and got around the corner.
Nice job by Larkins. Larkins has such a quick step when he's turning that corner. We saw that a lot last year. That was the first time we really able to see him get to the edge and turn upfield. So you start to see a few chinks in that St. Mark's armor now as Caravel starts to get more and more confident in what they're doing.
And so Lasnik is lined up right behind Hoffman. Larkins to the right. The give is to Larkins again around the left side. It worked once. Why not try again? This time it's going to end up, if not a first down, he's going to be 1 yard shy. We'll see where they end up marking the ball. Actually, he's going to be more than 1 yard. No, the close ref hasn't moved yet. I'm watching the close ref. It's the far ref there that's got it. He's on the 26-yard line, so it is going to be about a 2nd and 1 for Caravel.
And that was a nice job by Larkins. It looks like he had the option once he took that handoff of cutting inside or cutting to the outside. He saw there was a little daylight on the outside, which is what he saw on the last play as well. Managed to turn that corner and get a few yards for himself, and looks like he may have found a little bit of a soft spot on the left side of that St. Mark's defense, starting to get pushed back a little bit.
He had 10 rushes for 59 yards in that loss last week. Lasnik now the only back in the backfield, and the give is to Lasnik. He's going to try to pick up that first down. I don't think he got it. He got met immediately and pushed back, and he should get the forward progress. We'll see. Neither ref has moved forward where he should. Actually, the one is now. It's at the 25-yard line, which is going to be about a yard shy of where he needed to get, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and 1.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. The guy on the closest side of the field to us has moved backwards about 2 or 3 yards.
Well, now they've marked it back, but that makes no sense because he got to the 25-yard line.
He absolutely did get there.
And then got pushed back. So wow, I'm not sure.
Unless they're saying he bounced off a tackler and reestablished his forward momentum and did this. I'm confused.
John Reed standing where we think the mark should be.
Yes.
And maybe he's trying to make a point. Either way, it's 3rd down and 4, 3:18 to play. Caravel with a 6-0 lead. End the ball, trying to get in. And it looks like John Reed is going to take a timeout. There was a lot of confusion on the Caravel side, and that is going to be the case. So Caravel's taking at least their 2nd timeout. It might be their 3rd. 3:13 to play. They've got a big 3rd and 4th here. Big for a couple of reasons, Marty. Obviously, you want to pick up the 1st down. You want to score. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to give St. Mark's the ball back with 3 full minutes to play here. So this is a big play for Caravel Academy. Certainly probably 2-down territory.
Yes.
But as has been proven twice, it's not an automatic that you're going to get 4 yards on 2 downs because this St. Mark's defense is tough when they have to buckle down.
You're right. And, this is almost a sort of flip the script situation from last week where Caravel never possessed the ball, it seemed, last week. They've had the ball a ton of this half. St. Mark's has really not been able to get anything going offensively. They turned it over very quickly. They haven't chewed up much of the clock. So you're right. If you're Caravel, to me, this is much more about, or just as much about, getting a 1st down and keeping the ball from St. Mark's than even scoring any points at this point.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is turn the ball back to St. Mark's and go from a 6-0 lead to trailing at the half. The pitch is to Larkins. He's trying to get around the edge, and a huge hit and drop for a loss. That's Matthew McGuirk, and he drops Larkins back to about the 31-yard line. Going to break. Now it's a 4th and long.
Yeah, McGuirk, much more known for his blocks last week as a fullback. He was leading the way for Andrew Watkins. You saw some of that power right there as he just blew through that defensive, the hole in the defense, or on the offensive line, bring down the ball carrier. So, yeah, great job in making this a 4th and difficult situation for Caravel.
Looks like a 4th and 7 as Caravel is moving left to right. They're on the left hash mark, so the short field is on their bench side of the field. Hoffman is going to be in the shotgun position. It looks like Glasnick lined up to his left. 3 guys out to the right, 1 to the left. Low snap. Hoffman does a nice job going down, and he whips it down the sideline. He's got Alderman. Touchdown! No, they're going to call him down at the half-yard line. I thought he was in, but they're going to call him down at the half-yard line. And what a great hookup from the sophomore quarterback, Jacob Hoffman, to the basketball player, Trevon Alderman.
A great pass, and Matthew Tynes, the defensive back, was angry after the play was over. He was pointing at Carter Benham as if he was expecting some help in the middle of the field that never arrived. He kind of turned the receiver loose a little bit. Still, it took a perfect pass and catch to get down here. So, again, you're really starting to see this Caravel offense hum.
Lasnik and Potter are lined up behind Hoffman at about the half-yard line. Montgomery goes in motion. The give is to Lasnik, and Hoffman celebrates as Lasnik barrels in over the right tackle for the score.
That is the Lasnik specialty. We saw him do that a lot last year. If you need a yard, this is one of the kids who's one of the more reliable in the state to get it for you. If you're St. Mark's, you're not going to be able to keep him from a yard out. A great job by this Caravel offense putting together a great drive, a mix of run and pass. They've been able to build some confidence for Hoffman, and all of a sudden this, what could be a 12 or 13-point lead here is starting to look bigger and bigger the more impressive this Caravel defense plays as well.
They're going to try to run it in. It is Ethan DeRegis under center for this two-point conversion. Lasnik is in the backfield. 12-0 lead here for Caravel, and it's a fake, and the end around the other side to DeRegis, and he's going to get into the end zone for the score. Bounced off a couple St. Mark's tacklers and plunged into the end zone to make it 14-0. Caravel Academy with 1:55 to play here in the first half.
That was just a beautiful individual effort from Ethan DeRegis. Again, a junior, 5'9", 160. John, I thought he was going to get buried at about the 5-yard line.
He just kept get hurt.
Yeah, he just kept weaving in and out of traffic there, finally finding his way into the end zone. And all of a sudden, a 14-0 for Caravel lead, and it just feels bigger than that because St. Mark's has done absolutely nothing against this Caravel defense.
So a long pass on 4th and 7 from Hoffman to Alderman down to what looked like about the 1-foot line, followed by a 1-yard touchdown plunge by Jacob Lasnik and a 2-point conversion by Ethan DeRegis, and it's 14-0 Caravel with 1:55 to play. And so after not after 2 long drives that turned into nothing and then a fumble by Lasnik, Caravel has come back and scored on its last 2 possessions, given one of those possessions was a one-play drive on the 3-yard plunge after the fumble on the snap to make it 14-0 here with 1:55 to play. A lot of happy Caravel fans as Brandon Sampajon gets ready to kick off. And deep for St. Mark's is Ian Noonan and Blake Sanders standing at about their 8 and 10-yard line, respectively.
And, John, just 2 quick scores. DMA 21, Milford 14 in the second quarter. Laurel 7, St. Elizabeth 2 at the half.
Sampajon's going to kick from his own 40. He boots it away, and it looks like it's going to be taken by Ian Noonan at his own 5 to the 15-20. Tries to get up the middle, and a nice tackle there, a solo tackle there. That looks like it was Mandela Montgomery, the man that does it all. He's on our NKN film poster. Mandela Montgomery with a nice tackle there. St. Mark's is going to take over 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line with 1:50 to play, trailing 14-0.
Beautiful special teams play there from Mandela Montgomery. Just sprinted down the field the entire time, almost like a gunner on a punt team. Drew a bead on the return man and dropped him for what in high school was a pretty modest return, having started at the 21-yard line.
And so with that, Jelani Bryant is in the shotgun position, and he looks to his left, gets rid of the ball before he gets knocked down. That's Ian Noonan on the little bubble screen, and he's going to maybe get back to the line of scrimmage. We'll see. They might give him a yard on the play as the clock is ticking, 1:38 to play. St. Mark's has at least 1 timeout, I believe.
And you know, Jelani Bryant took another hit there. Caravel slowly but surely is starting to get pressure on Jelani Bryant, something they weren't able to do much in the first quarter. St. Mark's is going to have to speed some of these screens up if that's how they plan on trying to get back into this.
Clock is running, 1:18 to play. 2nd and 9 for St. Mark's. Ball on the 22-yard line. It's Watkins lined up to the left of Jelani Bryant. Now Noonan goes in motion from right to left, and it's a fake to Noonan. Jelani Bryant keeps it, and he is brought down immediately by Ryan. 2 places. The St. Mark's fans getting a little impatient with the play selection.
Yeah, that was an interesting call. I mean, it seems like John Wilson has kind of decided we're going to go into the halftime with down 14-0. We're not going to try to press it. We're not going to turn the ball over. And you're right. I think the St. Mark's faithful disagrees, which fans are want to do in these kinds of situations. But you do understand wanting to regroup. They just haven't been able to do anything.
And it's not like they're on the Caravel Academy side of the field either. So it's going to bring up a 3rd and 10, and an actual loss on that play. Jelani Bryant is going to roll out to his right, whips it out to the side, and the ball is picked off by Caravel. That looks like number 24, Kaylin Gomes. And a late flag there is probably going to be something added onto that, a late hit, but exactly what you don't want if you're St. Mark's.
There's where we just go back to it 2 seconds ago. Be careful what you wish for.
Right.
They put the ball in the air. Bryant makes a bad decision. The Caravel defensive back undercuts the route, comes up with the interception, and unfortunately, most likely, this is going to be a personal foul in St. Mark's after the play. A little frustration coming out. Boy, I wouldn't want to be the player if it's someone on Caravel's team that committed this penalty. It is going to be on St. Mark's.
They're
all of a sudden,
of the day.
22 seconds to go, and you've got Caravel on the St. Mark's right around 5-yard line.
And so they're going to have to go more than they had to last time when they only had to go 3. But they've got 22 seconds left. They may have 1 timeout left. We've been trying to find out that information, haven't been able to find that out. And it looks like actually they're going to have about the same amount of distance at the 3-yard line with 22 seconds to play. They're going to try to punch this in. Lasnik is lined up to the left of Hoffman, 2 wide receivers to the left. Hoffman's going to try to throw it into the end zone. Now he's going to try to run it in himself, and he gets stood up, but did he get knocked in is the question. Caravel saying yes. I haven't seen any hands go up.
The official down
now
our
he
end
has.
Put his,
So it is a touchdown on a 3-yard, what turned into a quarterback keeper by Hoffman to put Caravel up 20-0 with 13 seconds left to play here in the first half.
You know, that could have been really interesting because if Caravel doesn't have a timeout, the referees took a long time to decide that. Meanwhile, the clock was still running.
Yep.
So fortunate there for Caravel, and all of a sudden, again, this – you know, a game that was 0-0, we were deadlocked midway through the second quarter is kind of ballooned now to where you're looking at a 3-score game with St. Mark's heading into halftime.
And we'll see if Regis is in for this 2-point conversion. He is not. Hoffman is in with Lasnik lined up behind him. 2 wide receivers out to the left. Larkins is to the right. Hoffman's going to go through the air again. He's got his man. It's tipped around in a big hit. Oh, and they're going to throw a flag there. I'm not sure about that. I think he got his arms up. That was Matthew Tynes.
Not only that, John, but it was tipped.
Yeah.
And the receiver was making a second attempt to go after it. So was the St. Mark's defensive back.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Look, we've been all about head safety in the games we've talked about, but I'm just not sure that is an appropriate call there. And let's see if
it is going to call a
personal
personal
foul. Yeah, they did call it.
And, they're a lot closer than we are. I don't think it was a blatant personal foul.
No.
And
you do want to protect the players.
And you do want to protect the players. And the tip rule doesn't go into effect because they weren't going to call pass interference.
No.
So it's just that it was a bad hit. And so it's half the distance to the goal now. They're going to try it again with a 20-0 lead, 13 seconds to play here. A two-point conversion. Lasnik is lined up on the right this time. Hoffman's going to drop back again. This time he's thrown to the corner, and that could be a pass interference. No flag there.
Wow.
They were trying to get the ball. I think that's Mandela Montgomery, and on the coverage was Ian Noonan. I thought he got held. Montgomery thought he got held. John Reed thought he got held.
I don't know how you don't run Lasnik from the yard out there. That's a tough call.
It is what it is. John Reed's doing a good job calling the play so far tonight. Caravel's got a 20-0 lead with 13 seconds left to play. We're going to keep it right here. And, Marty, all the momentum right now is on the Caravel side, and now you understand even more why John Wilson was trying to probably get off the field and into the locker room.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I wonder if he wishes he could have that play back. It was very odd. It was an odd play call given what they ran on the first two plays, which were runs. All of a sudden they have Bryant roll out and decide to throw to that side of the field. The Caravel defensive back undercut the receiver, and you're right. I mean, if you're Caravel, boy, and by the way, if you're Edmondson, you got to be thinking, wow, we're a really good team because we completely shut this Caravel team down, and their offense, all it took, and, we talked about building some confidence. They get that one really short drive after the muff punt, and all of a sudden they look like a different team. They look like a playoff caliber team. St. Mark's is the one searching for answers.
And so Sam Bachan's going to kick it off, and, the last thing you want to do is give St. Mark's the opportunity to run it back. Ian Noonan is back along with, not sure if that's Kalen Gomez. I can't see the number there. It's a 4 to end it, but you wouldn't think they would let either one of them have a chance. And it's going to be Blake Sanders getting it at the 10-yard line to the 15 to the 25 and taking down there with 7 seconds left to play. We'll see if St. Mark's decides to try a Hail Mary or whether they just take a knee and go in trailing 20-0.
And, it seems like this last 60 seconds has taken as long as the whole first and second quarters combined.
You're right.
There's been some change of possessions, the scores, and it's really just been Caravel rolling downhill. So, yeah, I'd be very surprised if we didn't just see St. Mark's take a knee here, get out of Dodge, and hope to regroup and get things together for the second half.
And it looks like they're going to do just that as they're set up in the take-a-knee formation. So they will take the snap, and they will head into the locker room. We're going to be sending it back to the studio for the IDEW Local 313 halftime report with Ronnie Vickers, who'll have football news and scores, along with a preview of the weekend matchups ahead. You've been listening to the high school football game of the week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 2 Sports. Our halftime score, Caravel Academy 20, St. Mark's 0.
Do you belong to a local sports organization like Babe Ruth or
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for in Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best.
Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleyGroupRE.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Soto Concepts. Soto Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Soto Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley. Cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Soto Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lois, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com. Remember, you can always order online to take home our world-famous wings. It's your couch, our wings. Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroup.re.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley: cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lowest, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com. Remember, you can always order online to take home our world-famous wings. It's your couch, our wings.
Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvement's pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroupre.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley: cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lowes, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com. Remember, you can always order online to take home our world-famous wings. It's your couch, our wings. Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus: wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create.
here, and a collision by Zion Glover and Ian Noonan on the kickoff resulted in a fumble, and Caravel is going to take off right where they left off in the first half, trying to take advantage of St. Mark's mistakes. They've got the ball 1st and 10 on the St. Mark's 20, and it was a collision, lack of communication between the return men Zion Glover and Ian Noonan as the ball bounced right off the sophomore's chest as he collided with Noonan. 1st and 10 on the 20 for Caravel. And the give is around the right edge to Larkin. No, that's Mandela Montgomery. The glare's getting worse here, Marty. As
it
is. Goes on. Montgomery tried to get around the end, and he stopped. No pickup. Going to be 2nd down and 10.
John, you really feel like this early in the game, this might be a must-stop situation for St. Mark's. They can't allow a touchdown here. I can't imagine John Wilson's face when those two returners collided with each other to give the ball back to Caravel. I understand you're trying to make something happen, but you just got to be smarter than that.
Montgomery and Lasnik in the backfield. They're on the short side of the field right in front of us. Montgomery's going to get the ball. He's going to try to inch his way around the side, and a nice stand up there by the defensive line of St. Mark's to drive him back. Picked up maybe a yard.
Yeah, nice job again collapsing on Montgomery is the St. Mark's defense. You know, it seems like we have another umpiring crew tonight that lets the play go a little bit longer as Montgomery was held up and pushed back about 4 yards there before the first whistle blew. So, and you know what? That leads to turnovers sometimes. We've seen the ball come out late, and perhaps they're letting it go to see if somebody sneaks a hand in there and rips it out.
And so Caravel having trouble getting the play onto the field, just running it on is Ethan DeRegis. And he's actually going to go through the play. We'll see if he lines up under center. It does look like he is going to be the one lined up under center. And off to his right will be Lasnik. It's 3rd and 10, and there's a flag, and that's got to be a delay game.
Yeah, that play took forever to come together. You have to wonder what in the world Caravel is doing there. I mean, Regis came in and ran that little 2-point conversion, which he worked a little magic on, and maybe they're looking for that here. Hopefully nothing's wrong with Hoffman, because otherwise now he's jogging back into the game now. Otherwise, on a 3rd and 10, I'm not sure what try to gimmicky offense you're trying to run there.
And I don't know, maybe Hoffman lost his helmet.
That could be.
I don't
you're
know,
right.
because he certainly sprinted back on the field like he's healthy as can be. So either way, it's 3rd and 15. Ball on about the 24-yard line. Hoffman takes a snap. He's looking back. He's going in the end zone, and it goes off the head of Ian Noonan. I think the receiver was Mandela Montgomery in the end zone, but the ball deflected right off of Noonan's head on the cover. It's going to bring up a 4th and 15.
Yeah, that throw was right on line, and Noonan just, fortunately for him, right place, right time as his head broke up that pass. I'm not sure he really saw it coming. Montgomery, I kind of thought he might make a play back for the ball, but it actually looked like he was having a hard time picking the ball up as well.
Hoffman back in, sprinting in, and again, it's going to be, they're taking a lot of time now. They're on the far, they're closer to us, which means they're farther from their sideline, but they're on the right hash mark, moving left to right in the all maroon here. 4th and 15 early in the 3rd quarter, a gift possession on the fumble on the kickoff by St. Mark's. Hoffman gets it, and he's looking, and he's pressured, gets away from one tackle, throws it over the middle, and coming down with it between 2 defenders is the receiver. I can't see who it is yet as he comes out of the puddle, and that's Montgomery, the big-time star there. He comes down with it on the 2-yard line, and he went up between 2 defenders and came down with it. Injury on the play. It's Matthew Tynes, who is down on the field in pain, but another huge 4th down play for the Buccaneers.
John, I tell you, Hoffman must have hands like a steel trap, because I believe it was Tyler Shields who hit him and almost looked like he was trying to rip the ball out. He wasn't able to do it. Hoffman reloaded through it. It actually looked like it went right through the hands of Matthew McGurk, the fullbacker slash linebacker for this Spartan team, and right into the hands of Mandela Montgomery, who's kind of turned into a Johnny on the spot tonight.
That's the second huge 4th down play down near the red zone for Caravel Academy. The other one came on their second scoring possession when on a 4th and 7, Hoffman hit Alderman almost in the same spot. Alderman didn't make it in the end zone, and Jacob Lasnik plunged in from 1 yard out to make it 14-0. Prior to that, the series before for Caravel, Josiah Larkin scored from 3 yards out. That play set up on a bad snap by St. Mark's. So special teams hurting the Spartans tonight. The final possession for Caravel in that first half was one they didn't think they would have. There was an interception, and that interception, we couldn't get the number at the time, but it ended up being Ethan Potter on the interception. And a few plays later, Jacob Hoffman goes in from 4 yards out to put them up 20-0. Right now, it's 1st and 2 to go. The ball is on the 2-yard line, right between the 2 hash marks, almost where the 2-point conversion is set up. Hoffman is in. Lasnik is behind him. One wide receiver out to the right. He gives to Lasnik over the tackle, and he plunges in with ease. This time, touchdown. Lasnik to go up 26-0.
Yeah, I was surprised last time when they ran that 2-point conversion, they didn't give it to Lasnik. This time, Lasnik just bowls over that left side. The offensive line got great push, and all of a sudden, Caravel just looks unstoppable. Now, again, the offense, that's their second touchdown drive where they didn't have to go very long. Actually, it might be their third touchdown drive where they didn't have to go long at all. And, yes, St. Mark's has just been one right after the other, shooting themselves in the foot with mistake after mistake tonight.
Sampa John's going to try to put his team up 27-0. The hold is down by DeRegis. It is up, and this time it is good. So with 10:03 to play, Caravel has taken a 27-0 lead. We're going to take our first break in the second half. This is the Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week, and you're watching it live on 302 Sports.
American Spirit Federal Credit Union brings
Game of the Week. In just under 2 minutes, Caravel Academy was given the kickoff on a fumble by St. Mark's, and a 2-yard plunge by Jacob Lasnik a few plays later has made it 27-0. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. And kicking off for Caravel is Brandon Sampajon. Let's see if St. Mark's can handle this one a little bit better. Noonan is back. This time he lets it bounce over to Blake Sanders. Sanders across the 20 to the 25. And that's where he's going to be brought down at the 25-yard line. Smarty, interesting. Zion Glover, who was in on the opening kickoff in the second half, not out for that one. Instead, they went back to Noonan and Blake Sanders, who had been receiving the kickoffs throughout the entire first half.
And John Wilson came over to him, gave him a little pat on the back as if to say, you know, it's just not let that go, let that roll off. We're going to give you a break, get that out of your head. But he's a kid they're probably going to need the rest of the season. And not, you know, you don't want anybody to get down because they make one mistake. Plus, this game has sort of been a series of mistakes. There's no one person wearing the mistake hat for St. Mark's tonight. It's been shared a lot.
So Jelani Bryant has 2 wide receivers out to the left, one to the right, one man in the backfield. That's Watkins. The fake is to Watkins. Bryant's going up over top, and he's looking for Ian Noonan. Crowd wants an interference. Not going to get it. On defense there was number 5, Josiah Larkins. So no go there, second down.
I thought that was great coverage by Larkins. I mean, he was all over the receiver, but I thought it was clean. Ian Noonan was out in the formation. There was a little bumping at the end, but it was as much Noonan as it was Larkins. So a good job by Larkins there to make sure nothing blatant was done to result in a pass interference penalty. So this is one of the cases, too. Caravel's going to be able to sit back defensively a little bit and let things come to them with now a 4-touchdown lead.
McGurk is in. We haven't called his number yet. He looks a little confused where he's going to go. He's in the fullback position in the I. Watkins is behind him. Bryant is under center, 2nd and 10. And the pitch is to Watkins, and he gets taken down behind the line of scrimmage by Ethan DeRegis, who had 3 tackles last week. He's had a few tonight, going to bring up a 3rd and long.
Ethan DeRegis has been all over the place tonight. Again, 5'9", 160, a small kid. He ran for the 2-point conversion earlier with a little wizardry. He's been all over the place. He's just kind of darts in and out. He's able to hide behind some of the bigger bodies out there. But that was a great job because McGurk was in a perfect position to lay down a block for Watkins, but just nothing doing. DeRegis blew it up.
Watkins is in to the left of Jelani Bryant. McGurk limped off. He's being tended to. Looks like he might be cramping up. It's 3rd and 10. 2 wide receivers out to the left. and that's Watkins flanked to the left of Jelani Bryant. Bryant is looking deep. He's got a receiver, but the defender's there too, and a nice job. That looked like Alderman on the defense there going out for the pass was Cole Balint. First time we've called his number tonight. Going to bring up a 4th and 10, and Ludman will be on the punt.
And there's a perfect example again of the Caravel defensive secondary being able to start back a little bit further. They're not having to play right up on the wide receiver. When you have such a big lead, they're able to position some guys deep. That way they're able to defend these passes. That time it was more thrown up for grabs by Jelani Bryant, just nothing doing.
So Ludman's back on his own 15. Montgomery and Alderman are about 10 yards separating them. Ludman gets the punt away. It's a high punt. Caravel's going to let it bounce. And it bounces straight up in the air and is going to be down at the 49-yard line of Caravel. So that's where they will start their second possession of the second half.
And again, just great field position to start for Caravel. I mean, it's been one of those nights where every time they get the ball, they're in prime field position, whether it's deep in St. Mark's territory or up near the 50-yard line, up near midfield. St. Mark's has just played the entire game, it seems, on their side of the field. They've been incredibly frustrated offensively, and this Caravel team is starting to get a little pep in their step, a little confidence going offensively, and has St. Mark's defense on its heels.
And while it might not have been a must-score situation for St. Mark's offense, I think it is certainly a must-defend situation for the defense here as Hoffman gets rushed out of the pocket and the heady quarterback throws it short of his wide receiver Montgomery before the sack was made. Nice job there by Hoffman.
That was a good job by Hoffman. Throw that at the feet of Montgomery. If he catches it, that's about a 3 or 4 yard loss. If you're Hoffman, you certainly don't want to take any sacks at this point. There's just no need for it. You'd rather have an incomplete pass and live to fight for a 2nd and 10.
You know, the clock is on Caravel's side clearly, not only because of the score, but remember, they held the ball in their first 2 possessions for 7 minutes.
Yes.
So they've proven, even though their scores have come on short fields, they've proven that they can go the length of the field and eat a lot of clock. And I think John Reed would be perfectly satisfied if they picked up a few more first downs and got stopped on downs again as long as they chew the clock.
I agree.
The give is to Montgomery around the side. He cuts back up the middle and gets dragged down from behind, but he's going to get to about the 45-yard line. Tackle there made by Victor Marcello, going to bring up a 3rd and about 3.5, maybe 4.
A great display of athleticism again by Montgomery, just picking and weaving his way there through the defense. There wasn't much there, but he just kind of shifted in and out, and before you know it, he ends up with 5 or 6 yards, brings up a 3rd and very manageable. And as you said, they'd love to get this first down and burn a couple more minutes off the clock.
Lasnik in the background or backfield along with Larkins to his right. Hoffman is under center. The give is to Larkin. He's going to go around the left edge. Doesn't get the first down, I don't believe. Going to be about a yard shy. So he's going to bring up a 4th and 1. This will be an interesting call, Marty, because if you go for it and you don't get it, they've only got to go 60 yards back. If you punt, you can pin St. Mark's back if you do it well.
I agree. I think if this was 20-0, I think you might see them punt the ball. I think because it's 4 scores, they're going to take a shot and just run Larkin into the line, see if they can do something here. I think this just feels like such a cushion for them. They're going to take a chance, and I'd be very surprised to see them do anything other than try to blast forward for this.
The other thing they might try to do is to get St. Mark's to jump off sides, which would be an automatic first down. So here we go, 4th and 1 to go on the 41-yard line. Caravel with a 27-0 lead. They do go to Lasnik, and he bursts up the middle, and looks like he's going to get the first down as he gets to the 40-yard line. A huge 4th down play, the 3rd huge one of the day for Caravel.
Huge play, and to your point, they actually did get the nose tackle to move a little bit. He had to reset himself, which actually gave Lasnik and the offensive line a chance for a little bit more push. He didn't get that first down by much, but at this point, John Reed doesn't care. He just wants to see that 1st and 10 and see the clock continue to run.
And run it is. We're under 7 minutes to play now here in the 3rd quarter. Caravel with a 27-0 lead, and John Wilson is going to take a timeout. Not sure why, but he saw something on the field. Looks like they had the wrong group of players. Maybe only 10 players, not sure. But he just called over Cole Balint to come into the huddle along the sideline. We're going to go ahead and take our second timeout of the second half. Caravel with a 27-0 lead over St. Mark's on Fox Sports 12-9. County not only dominating on the scoreboard, but Marty, I think we'd agree, dominating them on the field of play. Just picked up a big 4th and 1. This pitch is to Larkins around the right side, and he's going to be dropped behind the line of scrimmage by Andrew Watkins, with much to the delight of the St. Mark's crowd, which hasn't had much to cheer about tonight.
No, they haven't. And for Andrew Watkins, it's one of the first times we've really been able to call his name in a positive light tonight, because he ran for 128 yards on 17 carries last week. I'd be surprised if he had 25 this week. He's been completely shut down. Again, St. Mark's just hasn't been able to hold on to the ball for very long, haven't been able to get any kind of a semblance of offensive consistency or chemistry going. So, yeah, at this point, and this is a must-stop. I'm baffled by that timeout by John Wilson. I think I don't care what was going on. I think that's more important, keeping that time out, than whatever was happening.
And so the handoff is going to be to Larkin. He's going to try to go around the left edge. He's had a lot of success with that. This time he's picked up about 3 or 4 yards before he's brought down by a couple of St. Mark's players. Going to bring up a 3rd and probably about 8 to go on the 38-yard line. And
the St. Mark's defense is reacting as if this is a must stop. They've increased their tenacity, their tenaciousness a little bit. They did allow the first down to Lasnik a few plays ago, but it was only by maybe a nose or two of the football. They're really fighting here. They know they can't let anything else go here. And, you know, as to your point, even if they drive deep into St. Mark's territory, I think it's a huge win for Caravel, because even if they turn it over, St. Mark's has to drive the length of the field.
And after giving up that first down, that might have been exactly what John Wilson was calling that timeout for, to basically tell his team it is now or never. You need to stop this Caravel team. And a flag has been thrown by the referee, who lines up right behind the defensive line. Looks like an illegal motion, false start against Caravel Academy. That is their 4th penalty of the day. 5 penalties for St. Mark's. The 5 penalties haven't really hurt St. Mark's, but the 3 turnovers clearly have.
And that's a pull your hair out penalty for John Reed. It's just one of those things. You want to make sure you're not stopping the clock for any reason. The clock didn't restart, of course, but you don't want to do anything to hurt your cause at this point when you're nursing a 27-0.
3rd and 12, ball on the 42-yard line. Hoffman in the shotgun, 2 wide receivers out on each side. Lasnik is to his left. Hoffman's going to take the snap, drop back. He gets flushed out, and he's going to be buried. Watkins the first in on the tackle there, so hasn't been effective with the ball carrying it, but he's done a good job on the defensive side of the ball. A huge loss back to the 48-yard line.
He really has. And you know what? On the flip side of that, I love Jacob Hoffman taking that sack, because at this point you may not want to throw the ball away, because you take that sack and you just keep this clock rolling. Now they get a chance to Sampachan, send him out there and hopefully try to pin St. Mark's back a little bit. Any kind of positive yardage here on this punt is good news for Caravel.
So Sampachan back and backing up to his 13-yard line for St. Mark's. It looks like Noonan will take this back. And instead, the ball is going to bounce out of bounds, and we'll see where the referees mark it. I like that. You don't give him a chance to get it back. You still get it down to the 18-yard line there. Noonan had no shot out of return, so St. Mark's is going to take over at their own 18-yard line. 4:16 to play here in the 3rd quarter. They trail Caravel Academy 27-0. Marty, we've already gotten a bunch of compliments for the posters, the schedule poster this year that NKN Films puts together for us. Just another outstanding job by them. Visit nknfilms.com for all your video needs.
That may be the icing on the cake for the posters for them. I thought that was just a fantastic poster this year.
It sure was. So ball is on the 18-yard line. It's a quick out, and that is to Ryan Duplessis, who gets the ball and over across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Going to be a first down. So somebody hasn't caught a ball all season, gets a catch and gets a first down.
That's the first time we've seen a St. Mark's offensive player get to maneuver some in space, and it's Ryan Duplessis, as you said, his first catch of the season. Nice job to get some positive yardage there, and looks like DeRegis, the guy who's been all over the place, is down on the field for Caravel right now with maybe some cramping issues, which coming into tonight I kind of thought we might see even more of with the temperature the way it is.
We didn't last night because last week it was about 10 degrees.
It was a little cooler,
It was breezy and it wasn't humid, and it's almost the opposite. In fact, it's gotten, you and I were standing outside the press box before watching the teams warm up so we could get the breeze. But then I went out at halftime and there was no breeze.
No, it is sticky out there.
It may be warmer now than it was at the start of this game, and so we hope, even though we don't want to see anybody injured, we hope for Ethan DeRegis' sake it is just a cramp. 4:04 to play. We're going to keep it right here. It's 27-0, and again, turnovers has been the difference here, as that ended up giving Caravel Academy 2 of their touchdowns, an interception by Ethan Potter, and then the first score, Isaiah Larkins went in 3 yards after a bad snap by St. Mark's on a punt, left them with just 3 yards to go into the end zone. So Regis is up and leaving on his own power, so it will be 1st and 10 for St. Mark's. And Marty, I'm starting to think this is probably a must-score situation, only because of the ability Caravel has shown to run the ball effectively, pick up some first downs, and eat the clock. They've done it on 3 different possessions now.
I agree, and for St. Mark's, you need to be in a 2-minute offense the rest of the game at this point.
And so 1st and 10, Jelani Bryant is looking over to his left, and he tries to throw it. It's swatted down and then picked off. That was Brandon Sampajon, and swatted it down, and it went right into the hands of number 57.
Who is not on our roster.
Is not on our roster, but whoever number 57 is, we printed that roster out this morning. It's not like we
stay up to date on these things, yeah. So when they throw in the last minute, it's not on us.
Throws us off. Now, yeah, it was number 57. So either way, another turnover by St. Mark's, an interception by number 57 on a ball that was knocked out of the air by 6-footer Brandon Sampajon. And so, if they score here and score a 2-pointer, Marty, we're talking about a running clock.
That's right.
27-0, 3:50 to play. And I don't think anybody saw a lopsided score like this when they were thinking about it. Larkin gets it. He's going to go around the left side as he's done, keeps the clock moving. He's going to get tackled by a host of St. Mark's players. Probably going to, I think they're going to give him maybe a loss of a half a yard. We'll see where they end up spotting it. The referee and the chain gang are talking about it right now. But either way, the most important thing, the clock continues to run.
That's just it. I'd be very surprised, unless it's a case where they want to get Hoffman some work. I'd be very surprised to see the ball in the air anymore for Caravel tonight, unless they get into a really down and long situation where they want to try something different. Otherwise, they've really started to move the ball. The St. Mark's defense has to be tired. They have been out here a lot, especially in the second half.
And especially in the humidity. And so
yes.
2nd and 10, Hoffman is under center. Larkin goes in motion to give it to Lasnik, and he's brought down, picks up about 3 yards. Most important thing is for him to hang on to the ball because the clock is going to run here. And, I think what we're seeing, Marty, tonight is the advantage of playing a team that was clearly better than you a week before, and how much that has helped Caravel. And on the flip side, you have to wonder how much playing a team that St. Mark's was definitely better than last week, and how that affected them this week.
And the odd situation is for St. Mark's, that was a 6-point win over a Division I team, but a team they were clearly better than a Newark team that is still in the process of rebuilding.
And so 3rd and 10, 2:25 to play, 27-0 lead. To give this to Montgomery. He's trying to get around the right side. He does across the 20 to the 15 to the 10, knocked out of bounds at the 7-yard line, and that was Matthew Tynes that knocked Montgomery out. Tynes comes up gimping a little bit. He was hurt earlier in the game, and so I'm not sure if he's still shaken up about that, but it's going to be a first down from the 8-yard line. So a 1st and goal for Caravel, trying to punch this one in and try to put this game out of reach.
I think that might be where some of that fatigue comes into. Montgomery was just quicker to the corner than the entire St. Mark's defense. He is such a great athlete anyway. You put him up against a tired defense and let him get the edge, he's going to hurt you.
And so 1st and 10 on the 8-yard line, 1st and goal, I should say. They go to Larkin again. They're trying to get him around the edge. He cuts back a little bit, but he gets away from one tackler and then brought down, and they're going to mark it at about the 9-yard line. So he's going to actually end up losing a yard after running about 30 yards from the right hash mark to the left hash mark.
A strong job by the St. Mark's defense. Again, like you said, that's an exhausting play. They had to string that thing out about 20 yards over to that side of the field. It looks like a St. Mark's player is down on the play.
To see who that is. I thought it was Tynes.
It's Matthew Tynes, number 1.
And
it looks like another cramp situation as he immediately started stretching out his leg.
Yeah. And now Tynes, is that Tynes who was
that
up
is
now
Tynes,
walking
yes,
back?
yes.
There's another
there's another.
There.
That was 2 players down, yes.
And they're trying to stretch that out as well. So we're going to go ahead and take our 3rd break of the night as they tend to that player. With 1:51 to play here, Caravel is in the red zone, knocking on the door with a 27-0 lead over Caravel. Caravel leads St. Mark's with 1:51 to play here in the third quarter. Matthew Tynes is up and moving with one cramp. We have another cramp situation over there. It looks like number 43 for St. Mark's.
That's McGurk.
Is Matt McGurk, and he is up and moving as well. So heat and humidity here tonight paying its toll on these players. But Caravel Academy is surviving better. 27-0 lead here. 1:51 to play in the third quarter. They will have the ball second and 10 to go. Actually, they're going to mark it on the 8, and so it's second and goal. That's why the scoreboard says second and 10. On the 8-yard line there, they're lined up on the left hash mark. Hoffman is in. Larkin is behind him, along with Lasnik. Some confusion on the substitutions here. You have to wonder why that happened after you've just been huddled up on the sideline for a few minutes, but those things happen. DeRegis back in. That's a good sign. He's lined up now on the right side. Montgomery goes in motion. Hoffman's going to roll out to his right. Surprisingly, fires into the end zone. Montgomery with the score. A beautiful rollout and score from Hoffman to Montgomery from 8 yards out to put them up 33-0.
You know, and that may have been when I was talking about the confidence. Jacob Hoffman, you see, he is excited as can be down there. That is a great confidence booster for your young quarterback. It's not a difficult throw to make. You got a great athlete running out into the flat. Hoffman put it right on him, just enough for Montgomery to go up and get the ball. Perfect touchdown. Great job of play calling there to get Hoffman rolling. And as you said, John, it looks like they're going to try for this running clock and get this. And I don't blame them with this kind of night.
Yep. When it's hot and humid like this and people are starting to cramp out, the faster John Reed can get his team off the AstroTurf, the better. So with 1:29 to play and a 33-point lead, just 2 points away from the running clock here in Delaware High School sports. Hoffman is under center. Lasnik and Montgomery are behind him, and it's going to be an illegal motion there on Caravel, so that's going to make it a much longer than the 3-yard two-point conversion, and it looks like the kicking team is going to come in at this point.
Hoffman gave the little leg kick to signal the man to come in motion. The man didn't do it, so Hoffman kicked again, and one of the offensive linemen took that as a cue and decided to go forward. I'm sure that's not going to make John Reed very happy, but at that point, this is the right call, because then again, you don't want to make it look like you're running the score up, and you really would have to throw it from here.
Right. A low snap. DeRegis gets it down. Sam Pachon with the kick from 25 yards out. It's up, and it's good. So with 1:29 to play here in the third quarter, Caravel Academy is on top over St. Mark's 34-0. This is the Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week, and you're watching it live on 302 Sports.
Picture this. It's Monday.
But it doesn't seem to be affecting Caravel Academy. They've got a 34-0 lead over the St. Mark's Spartans. Caravel trying to get their first win of this young season after a lopsided loss last week. St. Mark's has not rebounded well after a big win against the Newark Yellow Jackets. I'm John Busby, along with Marty Sheehan. Ronnie Vickers back in our Newcastle studio. And Sam Pachon is getting ready to kick off to St. Mark's. St. Mark's has not done much offensively tonight at all. We'll see if they can put something together here. Sam Pachon's kick drives the returner all the way back into the end zone. That's Blake Sanders, who brings it out and gets buried at about the 11-yard line. So Blake Sanders trying to make something big out of nothing. Maybe he'd been better off staying in the end zone on that one.
Wow, that might only rank 8 on the Sports Center top 10. Another blistering hit here. Yeah, St. Mark's is you see Caravel, is playing with so much confidence right now, which, granted, 34-0 will do that for you, but we knew that this was a good Caravel team. They're just starting to find out how good they are. We said this would be a barometer game tonight. Last week was a really tough team. Tonight, we're seeing what this team is capable of.
So Jelani Bryant is going to try to do something here offensively. 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. And Watkins is flanked to his right. It's a fake to Watkins. Bryant keeps it up in the middle in the seam there, and he picks up about 6 yards. They're going to mark it at the 18-yard line, going to bring up a 2nd and probably about 3.
And if you're John Wilson and the play callers for St. Mark's, I think this becomes about next week and the rest of the season and gaining some confidence, regaining the confidence you had against Newark last week that you've lost in the first 3 quarters of this one.
St. Mark's has that Indian River team we saw get the big upset here.
Yes.
They've got them. They'll host them next week. Jelani Bryant takes a snap, and he gets dragged down, almost down by 57, who we don't have the name of, but then he whips it out, and in a complete pass to Ian Noonan. He's going to be really close to the first down. Looks like he's got it. They wave the chains on. So nice job there by Jelani Bryant not to panic.
Jelani is a strong kid. He's not an overly big kid. He's very strong. He can make all the throws, and you're right. That's a great job of poise under pressure. He's in the grasp of defender, still has the presence of mind to gun one to his receiver for the first down.
Moving right to left, Bryant takes it again. He's looking down the field. He's got his man. That's Matthew Tynes with his first catch of the night, and then he's tackled by a host of Caravel Academy Bucks, but not until he makes his way up to the 34-yard line for another St. Mark's first down.
Boy, we are really seeing some late whistles on some of these tackles. That time it looked like 3 or 4 guys were piling on time before we heard a first whistle, but a little confidence defining drive here for St. Mark's. They're finally starting to move the ball a bit, though. It is a little easier when the defense is playing a little off of you, and Coach John Reed is not happy. He had to burn a timeout there. They were about to get called for 12 men on the field.
Yeah, so, you don't want to see that. You've played almost a perfect game, for lack of a better term.
Yes.
Nobody plays a perfect game, but Caravel certainly has had everything go in their direction with a couple of gift turnovers by St. Mark's. But this is where you want your defense to keep their focus. You want your players to keep their focus. You've still got a quarter to play. Mm-hmm. Granted, it's 34-0, but, remember you're playing against a St. Mark's team that had a big second half against Newark. They haven't had a big second half so far, but it's been turnovers that have hurt them. So, and you can see here just a couple of plays we've seen late in the third quarter, the capabilities of this St. Mark's offense.
And you see, the people who may say, well, that's a cheap timeout. You're up 34-0. There's 27 seconds to go in the third quarter. If you're John Reed, you don't want your team to get sloppy. That's the last thing you want. You want them to finish games, and you want them to finish strong. And having to run a guy off while the other team is snapping the football when you're up 34-0 is not what you want to see. So he wants this last quarter to be as clean as possible, and he's going to do what he can to make sure that happens.
First and 10, ball on the 34-yard line, the left hash mark for St. Mark's, moving right to left, south to north, the way this stadium is situated. Watkins is off to the right of Jelani Bryant. A quick out from Bryant, and he overshoots McGuirk. And what could be, it might have been a late hit there. Now they're not going to call it. It wasn't a dirty hit, but McGuirk was clearly on the ground with the ball over his head when that hit was delivered.
No, and that insult to injury, the Caravel player who delivered the hit ended up hurting himself and limped off the field. So, yeah, when a ball's that overthrown, you don't want to see any contact to the player at all. You don't want to see a cheap penalty thrown in there, which the referee can throw at any time if they see contact on a ball that's as overthrown as that one was.
Instead, it's going to be 2nd and 10 on the 34. Another quick out by Bryant. This time he's got McGuirk, and McGuirk's going to pick up a first down almost to midfield. They're going to mark it at the 48-yard line. So a nice job by Bryant. They basically ran the same pass two times in a row.
And you know
what
what they're
Cole
doing?
Balint. I'm sorry, not McGuirk. Cole Balint.
Caravel is actually playing a really soft, almost zone-type defense. They're dropping off after the snap, and it's allowing St. Mark's to run free. I don't think that's going to last much longer.
Balint's second catch, and a big hit and a sack on Bryant, and that is number 3, Ethan DeRegis, with a big hit and a big loss. Going to be about a 10-yard loss. So just when St. Mark's looked like they were putting something together, a blindsided sack. Bryant did a nice job hanging on to that ball.
That may be as big a hit from a 160-pound kid as you're ever going to see. And you know what? He did a great job of not making that dirty. He didn't lower his head. He kept his head up and just drove right through Jelani Bryant. But if you're, our buddy Bill Harmon, who coaches quarterbacks for St. Mark's, he's going to talk about the presence and making sure that doesn't happen. You don't want to, you got to hear those footsteps at some point, because that was a long run for DeRegis before he lowered the boom on Jelani Bryant.
And with that sack, brings us to the end of the third quarter. We'll take a quick break. Caravel has a 34-0 lead over St. Mark's here on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302. after a big catch by Cole Belin, but that was turned right around on a big sack against Jelani Bryant, as we start the fourth quarter here. St. Mark's has it 2nd and 17, ball on their own 40-yard line. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. And this ball is tipped. Jelani Bryant's ball is tipped and looked like it might have been almost picked off, and it was a nice tip there by Caravel Academy. The tip was by Brandon Sampanchin. His last tip turned into an interception and then ultimately into a score. So another big tip. I guess that's why you recruit basketball players on your defense.
Boy, talk about a great pickup by this Caravel team. Sampanchin has done a really nice job. He's only missed one PAT. If anybody wants to blame him for the non-running clock, that's okay. He's the one who missed it. But he's done a really nice job defensively for Caravel as well.
3rd and 17 on the 40. Jelani Bryant's got it. He's pushed out of the pocket to the left, being chased down, and he's looking for some daylight, and he's going to get knocked out of bounds on the far side. Trying to see the number of whoever knocked him down. It might have been Day Regis, but either way, it's going to bring up a 4th and at least 14. Interesting move here. You would think you would go for it. Obviously down 34-0, but you wonder if you're going to go ahead and punt away. We'll see what John Wilson decides.
The only question in my mind, if I'm John Wilson, is the running clock. Because if I don't get it here, I'm putting myself at risk of getting it. They are going to go for it, which is it's a good sign. You want to send a message to your team as well that, hey, I believe in you. I believe you can get this. This may be a tall ask, though.
And they're going to be, Jelani Bryant's rolling out, and he's got his man, that's Marcelo, but it's going to be short of the first down, and they're going to turn it over on downs. Caravel will take it at their own 48-yard line.
Yeah, great gain of 9 yards on 4th down. Unfortunately, it was 4th and 15, so not much doing there for St. Mark's. But if nothing else, it did flip the field a little bit, make Caravel start from their side of the field, although they're only at their own 48-yard line, and figure to get a heavy dose of the running backs here from Caravel with 11:41 left in this game and really no need to throw the football.
So Hoffman has his team in the huddle, 11:41 to play, 34-0. It'll be 1st and 10 on the 48-yard line, moving right to left. They're in all maroon tonight here. The home opener, I'm sorry, it's the second game here at Caravel. They played last week here in that 30-8 loss, and they actually play their next game down at Sussex Central. So they won't enjoy the luxury of home here again next week. The give is to Montgomery around the right side. He then cuts it back. Flag is down. Probably going to be a hold. We'll see. Montgomery gets it to the 50-yard line. Bring up a 2nd and 8 as it stands right now.
Yeah, I think they might get a hold on Brandon Sampanchin here, on the near side here, and a hold.
Waiting for the signal, and
they're calling it illegal shift
against Caravel, so that play will come back. For Caravel, that is their 6th penalty. I have St. Mark's just for 5. It's been the 3 turnovers for St. Mark's, which has cost them just 1 turnover for Caravel in that Lasnik fumble, which ended up not hurting them. 34-0, 11:34 to play here in the fourth quarter. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan, Ronnie Vickers back in our Newcastle studio. Ball's going to be on the 43-yard line. A 1st and 15. Hoffman under center. 2 backs in the backfield. And to give it around the left side. And that is going to be for Caravel Academy, number 21. 21, I'm having trouble seeing through the glare here.
It is,
and we don't have another
roster.
21.
So Caravel making some substitutions.
They are. Maybe getting a couple JV guys in here. So it's going to bring us up to a 2nd down and 8, ball in the St. Mark's territory on the 49-yard line.
And sorry, we don't have the young man's number. It was a nice power run off the left side to pick up about 6 or 7 yards.
And so we'll bring up a 2nd and 8. Hoffman is under center, 2 guys in the backfield, and the give is around the right side. That's Ethan Potter, called his number a few times tonight. He's going to get into St. Mark's territory to the 47-yard line. A pickup of about 2. Going to bring up a 3rd and about 6.
Looks like Coach Reed is, I don't know if he's removed them permanently, but given some rest to Larkins and Lasnik and Montgomery. Not featuring them as much in this offensive set. Make sure he gets some handoffs and some work for some of his other guys. He still has Hoffman in there, which I don't disagree with at all, to hand off. You want the guy working with the first team as much as possible. Young guy.
Gomez is in there also. Ian Noonan. I'm sorry, not Gomez. Josiah Larkins is in there, and Josiah Larkins is going to get the ball. No, actually, it's number 24 to the 20, to the 10, and touchdown. Brandon Brooks takes it to the house. from 47 yards out to put Caravel up 40-0.
Just a great run. I apologize. I thought that was 24 Potter on the run, but great job off of the left side by Caravel. Again, I think the fatigue came into effect there a little bit. He just completely outran that St. Mark's defense to the near side. He was able to turn the corner and get into the end zone. Great burst of speed through that line.
We'll try to get verification of it. The numbers are very hard to read up here.
They are.
Through this glare and a little dirty plexiglass here. Either way, it's a running clock now, 9:25 to play. Sampachon is on to try to make it a 41-0 game. The kick is down. It's up. And it is no good. So 40-0 with 9:13 to play here. Running clock. Caravel over St. Mark's. We're going to keep it right here as we are out of timeouts for this second half. So a deflated St. Mark's defense gives up a big 47-yard run. Marty's trying to find out exactly who that was.
And that is hard to believe that this is a 40-0 game from what we saw in the first quarter. Both these teams sort of feeling each other out. Trying to get a feel for their offense. St. Mark's, great offense last week. Caravel, no offense last week. This week, the complete opposite. It's been a role reversal. Caravel has been able to get things rolling ever since that muffed punt by St. Mark's where the ball was snapped over Ludman's head. It's just been all downhill. That gave Caravel a shot in the arm, and they've just been fantastic since. And, you know, John, I keep waiting for someone on Twitter to post who scored that touchdown. And of course, with a 40-0 game, I think maybe some of the guys gave up here and are not following as closely.
Yeah, it was either number 22 or number 24.
Yes.
They look exactly the same running in. Both guys are built exactly the same, but we will try to find out who that was. 40-0, 8 minutes to play. Caravel, Sampachon is going to kick up from his own 40-yard line. And back for St. Mark's is number 14, Blake Sanders. And good to see Zion Glover back in the game. He's the one who muffed that one kickoff to start the second half, which set up the quick Caravel score. Good to see the young man in there, only a sophomore. Nice move by John Wilson. Get him in there. Hope they kick to him and he gets a good return.
I agree. And we're getting Jordan Vaney now on the touchdown run, number 29. Twitter
29.
Is
So we're not even close. Sampachon's kick goes into the end zone. I guess a 2 and a 4 can look like a 9 on these. There's nothing worse than maroon numbers on maroon jerseys, and that's what we have here.
And you know what? Real
tonight.
quick, Sampachon could end up being a weapon for this Caravel team. He really has shown a good leg. He's missed 2 extra points, but it hasn't been for lack of leg. He's been drilling these kicks. That kickoff went into the end zone and out. He's done a good job punting the football. He's played really well on the defensive line. So they recruit this kid who, as you kind of alluded to, the Rick Mahorn of the Caravel basketball team. He's really done a nice job playing football. So great get for that Caravel coaching staff.
And you know what? He looks like a kicker. You can watch a kicker kick, and you know right away, is he really a kicker or is he just somebody that raised his hand when Coach Reed asked who can kick for me? But he looks like a kicker, and so I agree. That could come in very handy both for kickoff, long kickoffs like he just did, and extra points. 1st and 10 for St. Mark's. Going left to right, we've got a new quarterback in, and a quick pass to Blake Sanders, and Sanders gets over the 25 to the 26-yard line. Anthony Papitti is in at quarterback, 5'11", 160-pound junior. So John Wilson is going to give the backups here an opportunity to play the last 6 minutes, which might be the last possession of the game with a running clock.
Right,
You never know.
This is the first adversity he faced. It's only week 2 by Jelani Bryant, but this was certainly a tough game for him. I'm sure they'll get in the film room, get some of this stuff cleaned up. We'll see a different St. Mark's team.
They never got their running game on track.
No.
Papitti with a quick out to his receiver at the 35 to the 40, taken down at the 43-yard line. So a nice hook up there, and that was to Ryan Duplessis, his first catch of the season. So a first down for St. Mark's, and you like to see any team on a losing side put together a drive like this. They know the game's out of reach. We're at the 5:44 mark with a running clock, but guys are getting a chance to play who otherwise normally wouldn't. You never know when that's going to pay off down the road.
No, and I love the fact that John Wilson is letting him throw the football, get some work out there. Again, you never know. Quarterbacks can go down at any time.
Papitti drops back, and it's a little bounce out to Watkins. Watkins gets it, bounce off 2 tacklers. He's going to end up going backwards. A flag has been thrown. We'll see what that is. Might be a helmet-to-helmet shot. They're going to mark the ball at the 45-yard line. So a nice catch and run by Watkins. Ran a lot, didn't get a whole lot of yardage. Going to be about a 3-yard pickup if it stands.
Now that I will tell you, I am shocked to see Watkins still in the game.
Yeah.
He took a wicked shot earlier in this half, and with down 40-0, I'm not sure what you gain. You know what Watkins brings for you when this offense is working. He's really motoring. I mean, he's getting 15 to 20 carries a game and 100 yards a game. It just hasn't happened tonight. And it looked like what you said. As soon as he took a helmet-to-helmet shot in the middle there is when that flag came out.
Yeah, it was a personal foul against Caravel on the tackle there. So that is their 7th penalty of the night. So when John Reed's looking at the film, he's going to see a lot of positives. One of the negatives he's going to see is some unnecessary penalties here that would have hurt them if this game was closer. 1st and 10 on the Caravel 35-yard line. Papitti back, and it looked like somebody moved. No flags, though. Papitti with a pump fake, and he throws it over the top, trying to get his man. He's got him. That's Blake Sanders for the touchdown. So a 35-yard touchdown throw from the backup Papitti to Blake Sanders to get St. Mark's on the board.
That is just a great job from Papitti to Sanders. Sanders ran a straight route to the end zone, just a fly route. Papitti hit him in stride. Great looking touchdown for St. Mark's, something they really needed. If you're John Reed, you got to be pulling your hair out saying, what in the world are we doing with a running clock, allowing them to stop the running clock? I mean, that was only, 4 or 5 plays that Dale had the backup quarterback to throw down the field for a touchdown.
And the personal foul penalty did help. Ludman in to kick. Colmery with a hold. It's down. Kick is up. A huge kick, and it is good. So St. Mark's finally gets on the board. They still trail 40-7. The good news for them, or maybe it's not good news, the clock has stopped at 4:14 to play. We're going to keep it right here and remind you to tune in to tomorrow as UD takes on Cornell at 3:30. You can hear all the action starting with the Blue Hens game day starting at 2:30. Scott Klatskin and Matt Janis bring you all the action on our sister station 94.7 WBSD. Special Olympics Delaware is always looking for qualified coaches or former players wanting to coach. They provide all the training. The next sports seasons are bowling and basketball. It takes just 2 hours a week for 8 weeks to make a difference. For more information, visit SODE.org. Don't forget to stay tuned after the game for the American Spirit Federal Credit Union postgame show when we'll recap all of tonight's action, announce our Crown Trophy player of the game, and give you a preview of our next game next week on Fox Sports 1290 and stream live on 302 Sports. All right, 4:14 to play. St. Mark's has finally put a score on the board with their backup quarterback Papitti hitting Sanders on a 35-yard fly route for the touchdown. At the 4:14 mark, the extra point was good by Ludman to make it 40-7, and Ludman will now kick off, or maybe Ludman will not kick off. Coming in to kick is going to be Sebastian Salazar. It surprises me. They bring Ludman in to kick, but he's not, but I guess you got to give your backup kicker an opportunity as well. Montgomery is the lone back for Caravel, and that's why they're going to try the onside kick, and not long shot, and it was a long shot. A nice job there by Vincent Green on the all-hands team to come up with that. You're not really doing that, Marty, to try to win this football game at this point. You're doing it because at some point you're going to need an onside kick to get the ball back.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Why Ludman's not doing it, I don't know. But Salazar definitely is the backup. We saw him kicking field goals before the game while Ludman was still out playing soccer.
Yep.
And you would think a guy with soccer experience would be able to hit that ball better from experience. That's sort of a soccer-style kick, that onside kick. But they chose to go with Salazar, and Caravel takes over, and I'm sure they just love to kill this clock with a nice long drive of running plays.
Well, and as you mentioned, Ludman was at a soccer game. For all we know, he may miss one of these games because of soccer, and so you want to get your backup kicker that opportunity, and it was a nice kick by Salazar, just a real nice hands team there by Vincent Green. All right, 4:13 to play. Caravel with a 40-7 lead. The ball on the 48-yard line, and the give is to the back. That's number 29, Jordan Beanie, the man who scored on the last touchdown, we found out. And he's going to get around the edge and maybe get back to the line of scrimmage. Looks like he may lose half a yard. Going to bring up a 2nd down and 11.
And it's nice. You've gotten to see some different players here. We got to see Papitti put on a display for St. Mark's on the last drive. Beanie scored the touchdown, the long touchdown run off the left side on Caravel's last possession. So it's good to see some of the younger guys, the guys who don't get enough playing or as much playing time in there doing something.
2nd and 11, and brought down behind the line of scrimmage, and then carried a couple yards and brought down again. Wait to see the number when he comes up out of that pile. Still haven't seen it. It looks like it might be Luke Moore. Not sure.
Yeah.
Looked like Luke Moore. Looked like number 9, but again, we're having trouble with the numbers with the glare here now as the light has fallen.
And the teams are substituting freely,
right.
which doesn't
Several
help.
who we don't have on a roster, so we'll do our best here to keep you informed and give these guys the shout out when they do get the ball. 3rd and 17, 3:05 to play. And the fake by the quarterback, and he's going to come around the end here. New quarterback in as well, and he gets thrown down. That was Anthony Papitti who got thrown down there, and in on the tackle was up because a couple of Caravel guys there, a couple of St. Mark's guys there in on the tackle, and it looked like Brandon Holmberg was in there first.
Yeah, at this point, we're starting to see some big hits delivered from some of the reserve guys. We saw one on Andrew Watkins a couple plays ago. Andrew Watkins is a starter, which is why I pointed out that maybe you don't want him in there at that point. But it looked like we're going to see Sam Pachon again, punting it away.
And it was Josh Morrow on that carry. Low snap, Sam Pachon gets it away. And a fair catch called by St. Mark's. And it's fumbled, but then it is picked up. And driving the ball down the sideline and knocked out of bounds is Zion Glover. And we're going to have a late hit. Another thing that John Reed is not going to like seeing. Blake Sanders fumbled the ball, and then Zion Glover picked it up and ran it back to about the 42-yard line. We're going to add 15 onto that.
No, he's tiptoeing around the sideline. There's no need to do that. Just knock him out of bounds, push him out of bounds. Instead, he actually took 2 good pops as he was going out of bounds. So, yeah, a little sloppy ending here for both teams, especially Caravel with a 40-7 lead. You don't want to see any of this nonsense take away from what has really been a pretty virtuoso performance over the last 3 quarters.
And you don't want somebody getting hurt over a foolish play that really is going to be completely insignificant in the grand scheme of things, not only in this game, but in the weeks to come. So let's hope that St. Mark's here will, with a 1st and 10, ball is going to be marked. They're still walking off the penalty. Actually, it looks like they've called a personal foul against both teams, so maybe it is offsetting. John Wilson is asking for and getting an explanation about how that can be offsetting.
Yes.
Maybe something happened after
the initial hit. Maybe
foul.
somebody responded.
Right.
Yes.
And a nice job by the referees. If something does happen, it's your job to call it, regardless of how it led to that point. But that looks like that's exactly what's going to happen, is they're going to end up marking the ball at the 43-yard line, which is where he was knocked out of bounds.
And I think I would speak for every fan when I said, John, let it go.
Yeah.
There's 2:11 left, and you're down by 33. Well, I understand you want an explanation, but
now they're marching backwards.
It looks like maybe he won. I know. Now maybe he got an additional one there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Boy, they're really
delay
a game. Oh, So in other words, they had enough hearing from Wilson. They just started to start the play clock.
They can't start the play if the coach is on the field talking to the referee. And now they're marching the other way.
Well,
so
I think they're marching off the
penalty.
Yes.
And so these are the personal fouls. So the delay of game got marked off, and now I guess the personal foul got marked off the other way.
It's gotten sloppy in these last few
There's
minutes.
no doubt about it. 2:11 to play, 40-7. Caravel has a lead here, and we've gone from a running clock to what seems like a stop clock in the last 15 minutes or so. And the snap is taken, and the handoff is Zion Glover, who's going to burst up the middle for a pickup of about 7. And a quarterback now is Reed Dalton, just a freshman, 5'10", 140 pounds. So he's going to get an opportunity to play here. And again, John Wilson's building for the future.
Yes, he is.
Building for the future. This is a St. Mark's team that has a lot more kids out for the team than they've had in last year, certainly. And
the only thing is the St. Mark's quarterbacks look like they're coming out of a Russian nesting doll. Each one is smaller than the last one.
Yeah, and younger, and that's why they're small. So the pitch is to Glover again around the left side. He's got a blocker out there trying to get around the corner. He does. Tries to burst back up along sideline across the 40 to the 35 and taken down at about brought back to the 37. We'll see if they give him his forward momentum. Either way, it's going to be a first down.
I tell you what, Glover's done some hard running. He's done a really nice job in there. I love seeing these guys get in. They don't get as much playing time as the starters and coming in here and trying to show their wares a little bit. And you know what? It's something they put on film for the coaching staff to take into consideration, whether there's an injury or a situation where somebody may not be performing up to par. It gives them something different direction to go in.
And so Reed Dalton is in under center, first down, ball on the Caravel 37, and a flip to a running back who was not expecting it. But a heads-up play by Dalton to come in and cover it.
I've never seen a quarterback toss the ball to himself, and that's what we, in essence, just saw there. Dalton turned to throw to a running back.
Not on our roster.
Yeah.
So he's probably a freshman.
Who also didn't apparently know the play call.
Right. No, he didn't know it was coming. But that's, you know what? That's what happens
that's
when you
good
get
stuff.
to this point.
That's right.
And you know what? It may not have been his fault.
No, you work it out. For all we know, Dalton, no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
We don't know. But either way, 37 seconds left to play. I formation for St. Mark's. They're going to hand the ball off. That looks like Glover, and Glover's going to scamper up the middle, and he's going to be just shy of the first down, which is going to keep the clock running.
Boy, he's got some really quick feet. He hits the hole very quickly. He may be an option later on down the road for St. Mark's' little change of pace back. He's 5'4", 130 pounds, so he's one of those guys that can maybe get in behind the offensive line and find some daylight for himself.
And only a sophomore.
Yes.
So one more play here, 6 seconds left to go. And they're going to fake the handoff, roll out to the left, and complete a pass there on the sideline to number 7. And it looks like he's going to be tackled, and that is going to bring us to the end of tonight's game. So after kind of a back and forth there, fourth quarter here, running clock and then not a running clock, and then what seemed like a long several 20 minutes here of the game, we are finally done here at Bob Peoples Stadium. Caravel Academy with a convincing 40-7 win over St. Mark's. When Marty and I come back, it'll be the American Spirit Federal Credit Union post-game show. You're listening to the high school football game of the week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports. Once again, your final score, Caravel Academy 40, St. Mark's 7. Academy has convincingly defeated St. Mark's 40-7 in a non-conference Division II matchup. I'm John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. St. Mark's drops to 1-1 on the season. Caravel Academy raises its record, or I should say gets its first win of the season, to 1-1. The second straight season Caravel has defeated St. Mark's. They, of course, won 7-0, so a little less convincing last year. The game lasted 2 hours and 15 minutes. Most of the scoring by Caravel Academy, 6 different possessions, a lot of it set up by turnovers by St. Mark's. St. Mark's scored on the final possession when Anthony Papitti hit Blake Sanders on a 35-yard touchdown. Actually, it was their next to last possession, which made it 40-7 with 4:14. But before the half, in the first half, a bad snap on a punt led to a Josiah Larkins 3-yard plunge into the end zone. And then on 4th and 7, Hoffman hit Alderman down to the 1-yard line, and Lasnik finished that off with a 1-yard scamper into the end zone, and then an interception by Ethan Potter with less than a minute to play in the first half, and a Jacob Hoffman 4-yard touchdown run made it 20-0 at the half. St. Mark's fumbled the opening kickoff, and a few plays later, Jacob Lasnik went in from 2 yards out for his second score of the game to make it 27-0. St. Mark's turned it over on downs. Caravel did the same. St. Mark's then threw an interception on a tip by Sanpachon. The interception was by number 57, who, again, we don't have a number on, and we apologize for that. We tried to find that out, and Hoffman then threw to Montgomery in the end zone on a nice swing play out to the right from 8 yards to go up 34-0. The extra point was good, which meant it was a running clock, and then they extended that to, actually the extra point was no good, stayed 34-0, but then Jordan Vini scored on a big long run to make it 40-0, and then St. Mark's scored at the end. A nice drive by St. Mark's, but too late.
Yes. Yeah, it was one of those games for St. Mark's where they just couldn't get anything going. You know, we watched the tape last week of Caravel against Edmondson, and it was very much the same way for Caravel. They just couldn't get anything going. They couldn't possess the ball for any length of time, and St. Mark's, in a sort of a flip the script role tonight, it happened to them. They just could not get anything going offensively. They threw the ball. They threw interceptions. They had a case where two returners collided, and there was a fumble. They just really never looked like they were in sync. And I don't know if they, this was a case where against Newark, against an overmatched Newark last week, they maybe got a little full of themselves, the players, as to where they were in the pecking order. I expected, along with a lot of other people, them to come in here and put in a good showing tonight. But Caravel, who was rebounding from that terrible performance last week, once they, it all changed on that missed punt snap that went over Chris Ludman's head. Yep. They set up shop at the 2 or 3 yard line. Caravel, they punched it in, and you could just see the pep in the step. Everything changed. The confidence level, the enthusiasm. The Caravel sideline picked up. Everyone got going, and the confidence just started rolling downhill. And it unfortunately, St. Mark's was at the bottom of that hill. It just rolled right through them as they end up giving up 40 points and don't look at all good. There wasn't one phase of the game, really, where you could say St. Mark's had a great game. There were some moments defensively, especially early in the game, where they held their ground, but even then they started to get overrun later on. Now, some of that was due to the fact that they were on the field an excessive amount of time. Right. It's hot out here. They were worn down. But all in all, this is a go back to the drawing board game for St. Mark's, and this is a, hey, we might be able to do some big things here for Caravel.
Yeah, and, both teams, they've got a week to figure it out. They're both going to play Henlopen Conference teams next week. Caravel Academy is going to travel south to Georgetown to take on Sussex Tech of the Henlopen North Conference on Friday night, and St. Mark's is going to host the Indian River team we saw here last week out of the Henlopen South. That is also on Friday night. All right, when we come back, we'll announce our Crown Trophy Player of the Game and talk about our next game here on Fox Sports 12-9. You're listening to the post-game show of the High School Football Game of the Week on Fox Sports 12-9. Watching live.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroup.re.com. The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroup.re.com. And began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Answer it. Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center.
7 win against St. Mark's. It's now time to announce our Crown Trophy player of the game. Crown Trophy in Glasgow and Wilmington have always been proud supporters of Fox Sports 1290 and the student athletes in the state of Delaware. Visit Crown Trophy for all the best in trophies and make sure to check out their varsity letter sports balls. Continuing with the Crown Trophy tradition, each player of the game this season will win a customized Crown Trophy award plaque, and the school receives one as well for its trophy case. Visit crowntrophy.com. Marty, the floor is yours.
You know, it was one of those games that didn't really have a ton of outstanding individual performances. It was really a team effort by Caravel. You had a couple guys that stood out. Mandela Montgomery, a really nice job, as always, creating some holes for himself, creating some offense for this team when they really needed it. He got around to the outside off the edge a few times when Caravel desperately needed some first downs. Then there was the guy, Brandon Sempachan, who did a really nice job kicking the ball. I think he missed 2 extra points, but otherwise he was perfect. He did a great job punting the football. And on the defensive line, I believe he had 2 batted passes, one that resulted in an interception. So he's been a great addition to this team. But you and I were talking off air, and then you kind of turned me on to the guy. Jacob Hoffman is who I'm going to go with. Sophomore quarterback. He really didn't get a chance to do anything last week because of the circumstances of the game and the way Edmondson dominated. He did a really good job tonight. He was on target early. He had a few passes that were dropped, but he managed the game really well. He ended up throwing a touchdown. He ran for a touchdown and just did an all-around good job of gaining confidence as the game wore on. After they scored that first touchdown, you could see his confidence start to come out, and he really took control of this offense. So for this game, Caravel against St. Mark's, the Crown Trophy player of the game is Caravel sophomore quarterback Jacob Hoffman.
Congratulations to Jacob Hoffman. Crown will get him a trophy for his bookshelf at home and one for the trophy case here at Caravel Academy. All right, next Friday night we head up the road to Newark High School. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff between the Newark Yellow Jackets, who face the Concord Raiders tomorrow morning, and crosstown rival Hodson Vo-Tech. And what this year will be a Blue Hen Flight A conference game for the first time ever, as the Silver Eagles are playing in Division I this year. We'll be on the air with our pregame show at 6:30, followed by kickoff at 7. Looking forward to heading to that new press box up there at Newark High. That's going to do it for tonight. A big thanks to our producer, Ronnie Vickers, for keeping us up and running back in Newcastle, and to Jay Winchell here on site, his production crew at 302 Sports. For Marty Sheehan, I'm John Busby. Once again, your final score, Caravel Academy 40, St. Mark's 7. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, good night from Caravel Academy.
This has been the Delaware High School football game of the week on Fox Sports 12.
Thanks, you guys too.
Fox Sports 1290 AM.